hello, and welcome to our interview with the fabulous Miss Funmi Monet. We are so excited. Everyone is here, and I'm going to bring my fellow admins in. Hey, Justin.
Hi.
Hey
Hi,
So we are
everyone,
everybody.
happy
all live and
Saturday.
excited. Yes, happy Saturday. Have we had a Saturday night one before?
Yes,
Yes.
because of
We
Italy.
have. Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay. So we are bringing Miss Funmi Monet in. She is an entrepreneur. She is now a perfumer. She is studying perfumery herself. So she will be the perfumer and creative director for her newest line. And she started her career working in perfume. So we're going to hear all about the woman and the journey and what it's like walking in her shoes. Y'all ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
Okay, let's introduce her.
Well, hello
How you
everyone.
doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so excited to be here.
They are excited already. They are in the group chat
Oh,
already.
yes.
So I'm looking at them. Yes, they are here and they are ready. Hey y'all. Hey. Thanks so much. We got Heather's already live. Hey Laura, thank you for coming in. And I see that they are populating. So yeah, Heather, I think you're gonna win. First one in this time.
Ooh.
Oh, she beat
So
out Laura by like 5
I
minutes.
know that never happens. That never happens. So the way that works, Fumi, is hey Crystal. What they do is they get additional spots on the wheel that they're going to spin that I told you about to win. And based on how long they watch, who's first in and who is last out. So
Ooh.
they fight for that like it's like keyboard warriors trying to be in first.
I
And
can
of
see
course,
why.
based on the analytics, they will see we'll know who's been on the longest. Yes, the ladies are coming in. But fellas, y'all really gonna let them do you like that? Come on in, fellas. Y'all know we don't bite. Justin's here. It's Saturday night.
That's right.
I love this.
So this evening we have Miss Funmi Monet, and she is an entrepreneur. She is a perfumer herself. She's studying perfumery. She is already has a line, is launching a new one. We've got brand deals with Sephora, but I think most interestingly about the journey, and I have to let the folks in our group know because we are not Instagram TikTokers. Our age group is demographically older, and as a result, we don't really understand influencer culture, but we do understand first, baby. And Fumi is the very first influencer collab with any perfume brand. So we want to start with your journey. Like, how'd you get into perfumery?
Oh my gosh. First of all, that was an incredible intro. Thank you. Oh my God. I feel like I'm just like on the WWE or something. Well, I think that I've always been someone I've always considered myself a perfume girly because perfume has always been something that makes me feel good. Even from a very young age, I would sneak sprays of my mom's perfume. And then, in middle school, my mom would buy me my own perfume. And then in high school, I had a job and, I used my little money to stock up on fragrances that made me feel good and, different types of fragrances I could wear every day to school or hanging out with my friends. I eventually started working in fragrance in college. Actually, when I was in grad school, I worked at Dillard's in the fragrance department. And it was so exciting because it was kind of a sales position and kind of glamorous. I lived in Oklahoma, so it was kind of glamorous to work in the perfume department. And what it really taught me was not just like, okay, I have a sales goal I need to meet today, but how fun it was interacting with people that come to the counter and helping them find fragrances that they like. It's not just, okay, this is a new fragrance or this is a viral fragrance. There wasn't virality yet then. It was, what is your lifestyle? Like, what do you do? What type of fragrances do you normally like? Like, let's find something that suits you. And I realized from a very early stage, that I like connecting with people and helping them to become fragrance thinkers versus just fragrance wearers. I think when you join social media, it's so easy to just buy products because they're going viral or because there's a lot of hype, like, oh, this is the best perfume, run, don't walk, this is, going to sell out. It's more so about being able to connect to things and understand why it means something to you, so transitioning into being a fragrance content creator. I've been a content creator since 2018, just felt really natural. I think fragrance is such an inclusive space, and no matter your age, whether you're seasoned or a Gen Z, right? I think everybody has a desire to smell good, regardless of their age, race, sex, religion, political, whatever. Like wherever you live, people just want to smell good.
Well, I'm gonna
So,
jump in here because you've already hit on 3 of the questions that we always
oh my God, I'm so sorry.
So we are not going to let you get past it, okay? Because you said you always were a fragrance girly, and you said going all the way back to middle school. So we always like to know, what was your fragrance introduction? What was little girl Funmi running around here wearing?
You're gonna laugh when I tell you this.
No, we're not.
No.
I was wearing Fantasy by Britney Spears.
Oh, we're not gonna laugh because you do know that Fantasy by Britney Spears is a collector's item now.
It is. I feel like it's the original It Girl fragrance. Like everybody started by wearing Fantasy by Britney Spears.
So wow, we're that much older than you. Hey, okay.
I was gonna say,
okay, wait, hold on. Wait. The baddie. Okay, wait, hold on.
That's what you was wearing.
Millennial baddies, tap in.
Okay,
Millennial baddies, tap in.
Oh, they clocking. Oh, they tapping in. They tapping in. So yeah. I cannot say it, baby. I'm Gary mess it up. So I can say Olafi. She said that she was about to say, I bet it was Fantasy by Britney Spears because she's a cute one. And then they let us know she was the moment. Okay. So don't get it twisted. They when women know. So Gen X and Generation X baddies, I was running around wearing Love Don't Be Shy because that was brand new back then.
Love Don't Be Shy by Killian?
No. Love's Baby Soft. Sorry.
Oh, I was like,
Baby
what?
Soft. That was brand new. That had just hit the market.
I was like, if you're wearing Love Don't Be, you are not a Gen X.
No, it was Love's Baby Soft, and you couldn't tell me nothing when I got that explanation. Okay, I wanted to go and die to get that little bottle in Sears. Yes, because it was in Sears.
I remember Sears.
I was going to die. You couldn't tell me nothing. Okay,
wow.
So. But I'm also jealous because you were able to get that mall job. I mean, you wasn't like the rest of us out here working at Target. You went straight to Dillard's, baby. So let's talk about that.
Dillard's was the upgrade. I was working at Chili's before that.
Okay, because
I was tired of coming home every night smelling like a greasy kitchen. Every night I came home smelling like the back of the kitchen. So it was definitely an upgrade.
Everything.
Yeah, it was definitely an upgrade. I felt like the most glamorous person in the world working at the mall. I think I was probably like 23, 24. I was, like I said, I was in grad school and I just kept thinking, wow, I get to dress up to go to work. I put makeup on. Like it was so exciting. And then also play with fragrance. These are high-end, for me, high-end fragrances.
So they were high-end fragrances back then. Nobody knew about this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you were getting your fragrance at and you weren't at Macy's, you was all the way at Dillard's, which was, almost, Nordstrom. And
that was our Nordstrom.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say we're in Florida. That was our Nordstrom too.
Yes, I'm just saying. So, you didn't just start out, working at Macy's or, again, I'm old. We had Bambergers in Philadelphia.
No pennies.
So you step right into it. Well, you must have had the aesthetic. So tell us about what young Funmi was looking like out there to get that job. Because you got crazy look.
I've always been a glam girl. It's so funny because growing up, I'm Nigerian, and Nigerian parents are notoriously super conservative. Mm-hmm. And not only was I Nigerian, my dad was also a pastor. But I always say I felt like I drew the genetic lottery with my parents because even though they were strict, they were also fairly liberal. So in middle school and high school, my mom sold Avon, and I would ask her to order me green eyeliner and pink lipstick and nail polish, and they would let me get away with wearing green eyeliner and pink lipstick and blue nail polish to school because I came home with A's. So my dad said, in his mind, he was like, I mean, she's making good grades, so she wants to wear neon green, sparkly nail polish to school. I mean, it's not keeping her from making it. So I felt really lucky that I got to express myself creatively. And so one of my first jobs outside of also working in a restaurant was I actually was a freelance artist with Bobbi Brown. My mentor in high school, she worked for Bobbi Brown, and she was just always so fabulous and put together. She was just, she was my Jessica Pearson. Did anybody watch Suits?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was my Jessica Pearson. Like, she was my mentor in high school. She worked at my high school. She was the records lady. I don't know if you're here, but Miss Gray, love you. It was her 70th birthday a couple days ago. So happy belated birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, they want you to know that the Nigeria is in the house, that you look beautiful as always. Shout out to all the Avon mamas, because they keep it together and kept you smelling good in all them lotion jars. And I know mine was that purple, that berry, what was it? I can't remember what it was, because I wasn't allowed to have pink, because my daddy said my lips were too big to be too juicy. So, you can't be having that. So I had to have, the burgundy, and I thought I was doing something when they let me get the mod velour, and I wore that color literally until I was in my 20s, and Dad said I was old enough. Literally, it was my 21st birthday when my Nana bought me red lipstick.
Oh,
I know you stepped out. My 21st birthday, you are now allowed to wear red lipstick.
It's a grown color. I get it. Like, it's, you know what they say about the red lip theory and the red nail theory,
That's right. See, we
opening
say
up
that
Pandora's box.
Red means stop, but red really means go.
It can mean a lot of things.
Was it your high school mentor that inspired your love? Oh, we got real Funmi fans in here. Was it the high school mentor that inspired your love for Victor and Ross flower bomb?
Yo, wow! First of all, you guys are nothing goes past you. Yes, actually, she's, like I said, she's someone I really looked up to because she was just always so fabulous and well put together. And that was her signature fragrance, was Flower Bomb. And I just remember, like, 17-year-old me in high school, I would go to her office during my lunch hour and I'd work on my college resumes. She would just be, flipping through a magazine or whatever and just giving me life advice. And I just would look at her and think, wow, I hope I'm as fabulous as you one day. Like, she always smelled amazing, makeup always on point, hair on point. And so she worked actually, like, in the evenings. Her freelance job was working with Bobbi Brown. So she taught me how to wear makeup. She taught me just how to really put myself together. And so she actually helped me to get my first freelance job in makeup, also working at the Bobbi Brown counter. So I kind of floated between doing odd jobs with Bobbi Brown, also working with fragrance. I remember when I worked at the counter, if somebody bought a bottle of Flower Bomb, I thought, wow, this person's really rich. Like, I just thought, like, people buying Chanel number 5.
Wait, they said, oh, you was doing it because you was over there with the rich aunties working at Dillard's. That's what they said.
I learned. That's where I learned this. Like, it's you have to learn this lifestyle. I love that. But yeah,
we'll
just
get to that, Adija. Don't worry. So, and I have to let you know that I started my in my high school, college years. I was the freelancer. I started as a freelancer at Lancome, and then went to Lancome school or L'Oreal school and became a traveling freelancer. So
not our competition.
Yes, well, I'm just saying, another makeup girly, girly.
And your makeup looks flawless. I love it.
Thank you. Yours too. We have to give each other love. So yes, they're loving your flower bomb.
What about mine?
Huh? Well,
what about my makeup?
We can't compete with the blue with the blue eyes. Let me tell you, Funmi, that we have had people on here of all genders and all sexualities who will tell us about Justin's blue eyes, okay? That we can't get this. So we all have to do all this work because Justin got the blue eyes.
Wow. His blue eyes just steal the show every time.
I'm trying to tell you. So we're moving forward. We're working at Dillard's, and you told us you were going to college. What were you doing? What was your goal for college?
So when I entered college, I did my undergrad in psychology. So I kind of always felt like I would become a therapist. And I took a gap year after I graduated undergrad because I thought, well, maybe I got a really good job working at Aldi. I was a district manager for a year. So then I thought, well, maybe I just want to have a job that pays me a lot of money. But I hated working in groceries, actually. It was probably one of the worst jobs I've ever worked. So I went back to grad school and I did my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So while I was in grad school, that's when I went back to working at Dillard's. And I really just, it's like it resparked my love for fragrance. I've always loved fragrance, but then I learned so much more about perfumes and brands and kind of starting to figure out, like, you start noticing patterns with how brands put out fragrances, like they're things that they're known for, things that they're not known for. Like, for example, I'll go into it later. But anyway, long story short, I felt connected with fragrance, and even my friends, they always loved getting recommendations from me, and it just made me happy to connect people with fragrances that made them feel good.
So
So
when you were working there, what was the brand that you most closely identified? So we're talking early 20s Funmi that was avoiding having to go to work, for real. You were out there because see, if black women ain't gonna do nothing else, we're gonna get a degree while we figure it out.
yeah,
So that's what we do. Okay, this is what we do. So as my as my mother said to me after my fourth degree, which was Lordy Lordy, it's time to get a job, because I was still figuring it out. So let me
yeah.
just go get another doctorate. So what did
Why
you?
not?
Yes, I'll be ready. Or as my father said, my baby qualified to do everything because she got all the paper, and when she figure it out, she's gonna be good at it. So what did you? What fragrance brand did you most closely identify with? Because you were talking about the identities and feeling people out. Me as Heather, me as I'm getting a degree right now. So, what was the brand that spoke to you most closely?
In my early 20s, I was a Victoria's Secret girl. I wore so much like I wore very sexy to the point where I think it
Hey,
seeped
that's
into my
London.
DNA.
Jess actually has a very sexy story.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to hear this.
Wait a minute, have I heard this story? Does it involve me?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
No. So I was not the proverbial fragrance girl, and so I bought with some babysitting money, the Very Sexy for Her, like the old one, with the red bottle, silver cap, cylindrical, and that was my signature scent for like the longest time. And I worked at Carrabba's, and I would spray it on, and people would know that I was there before like they even saw me because they'd smell me coming. And so that kind of was my fragrance for a really, really long time. And then I used it all. It was discontinued, couldn't find it. They came out with a new formulation. I was like, this is junk, whatever. And then I happened to find not long ago, like last summer, and a bottle, and I sprayed it, and I went skydiving last
There you
June
go.
with it on. And the jumper that was tied to me, he just, when we got down, he's like, I had such a great ride with you. And he's like, but I'm just telling you, like, this was like the best ever because you smelled fantastic. So for 5 minutes, he's like, I've just been inhaling you the
he
whole
was having a
time.
nosegasm.
Pretty much. He's like, what are you wearing? I'm like, Very Sexy for Her. I said I just got a new bottle in and it's been discontinued. It was my scent so long ago. He's like, you should probably wear that every day. He's like, if you don't have a boyfriend, you're gonna find one. I was like,
Wow.
thank you. So that's my
Very Sexy. You know what? The girls that get it, because Very Sexy
not last June, the June before.
is that
I was
girl.
going to say,
Counting.
I'm doing the math in my head, and I'm thinking to myself, if you went skydiving with
Not
some
last
man
June.
The
last
timeline
June,
was not timelining.
The math was not math.
then we're going to have to go and
It
have
was like-
another conversation.
It's like June of 23. There you go.
Stacy said Justin is looking at you like, really? Because you're looking at us and we're looking at Justin. Look at you.
I was waiting for his reaction.
Yeah, the months were clicking through my head.
I love that.
Anyway, that's my story.
No, I mean,
That's
it's
an example of the how fragrance gives you a memory. But
yeah.
the part of that story that I like for Jess, more so, I wasn't talking about how the man was having a nosegasm. It was also because for her
Jess.
it recognized a goal. She wanted to lose weight so she could skydive. It was one of her goals. So for her, now that's a real scent memory because she was able to realize a goal. And so now that fragrance is forever going to be like, just like seared in her brain.
That's beautiful.
And I just love that about fragrance.
It is. It really memorializes so many very, very good times and even very bad times in our life.
Which is also why something I've had a lot of loss. I've literally buried my whole family. And a fragrance has always been very important to us. And so everybody would, oh, what are you wearing to the funeral? And I would always say something I never want to wear again. because I don't want to bring that memory back. Now I have fragrances of theirs that I keep and I bring them out when I'm feeling a little melancholy or I'm feeling alone or, but I don't want to bring back that day.
Yeah.
So
That's reasonable.
on another note, so now we're moving forward and we've decided that we're going to pursue this other career, maybe not make all the money that you were making groceries. We're going to figure out something new. And where were you on your fragrance journey then?
I was still in
I have one more
collector
question
mode.
before we go
Oh.
into the next portion of this. Only because it's something that I do for fun sometimes.
Mhm.
Do you ever go back to Dillard's and just troll the perfume counter and talk to people? Because I will do that every time I go to the mall. I'll just kind of mill around and then I'll tell them, no, you don't want to buy that. Let me tell you about something else that's much better that you're looking for.
You know what? The Dillard's here, the problem is by the time I can go to the store and look at the counter, I've probably already received the product. But Nordstrom is probably where they're not Neiman Marcus. They're sick of me at Neiman Marcus. Sick of me at Neiman Marcus. I know they hate to see me coming at the counter because if I'm standing at the counter next to someone and that person is asking about a fragrance, I'll be like, oh, but have you tried House of Beau? Or they could be looking at anything. They could be like a parfum. I'm like, oh, have you tried House of Beau? Oh, have you tried this fragrance from whoever? And then I'll ask about a certain fragrance, like, oh, I've never heard of it. I'm like, oh, it came out this month, or they'll ask,
And they
layering.
don't have it
It's
yet?
just, I'm sure, I know they probably are like, oh, here she comes. They be, here she comes. Even at Louis Vuitton, really, it's.
Well, see,
but do you
perfumology.
bring your own fragrances in there in a hard carry case and make them smell what you want to smell? Because
I do that sometimes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm a tiny purse girl when I go to the mall, so I gotta have my hands free to try stuff on and carry my pretzel.
Or you can be like us, which is we all go to perfumology here in Philadelphia. So when anybody comes, so whenever you come, Funmi, we will be going to perfumology. I'll be dragging you over there. It's what we do.
Is this an invite?
Yes, it's an invite.
Yes,
Okay.
true
If
invite.
you make your way to Scent Explore and you decide you want to, make a little detour, we will be at perfumology, and we'll be in there, and we all fake work there.
We're gonna fake put you to work too.
And that's what we
Okay.
do. So, but Near actually welcomes it. He was like, "Oh, here come my new employees. Because they'll just go whatever." Because we're like, "No, you really need to go do this."
I love it. No, it's fun, but I'm sure they're sick of me. But yeah, I don't think it's. And then sometimes I just pretend I'm just a regular civilian when I come into the store. Like I'll pretend I've never heard of Delina.
Oh no! So Ramses Perez says the worst is when a new release comes out and then they don't have a tester yet, so they can make you blind buy it in the store.
Yeah, I'm like, no, siree, Bob. I'll wait till Fragrance Lord gets it.
You're not supposed to tell us that you do that.
My bad.
We all know, but still, we're supposed to pretend. We in social media. It's the land of make believe.
That was fun though.
Maybe if it was me, they'd be sick of me too. So yeah, so that's what we do. And literally Near just goes, "Oh look, I have 4 new employees," because it'll be we usually go on a Friday, so it gets towards the end of the day. Now we're getting busy, and it's like, no, it's okay, I've got them. No, have you looked at?
And I'm sure you guys have the ability to upsell, but if you layer it with this.
Oh no, we do that too. Well, no, what's even better is you can have you can smell like an orange creamsicle if you just put these two together.
Well,
like, what? You can wear more.
We gotta start thinking bigger. I'm telling you, sometimes you just gotta start thinking bigger. This could be like a 3 perfume sale.
With so much fun.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It is just so much fun. So okay, so you don't do like Justin and go and aggravate the people at the counter by bringing Plum Japonais with you to the Tom Ford counter, which he is famous for. And
I love Plum Japonais. I hunted it down in a Facebook group a couple years ago.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I just got it from him.
It's good.
Where I got mine from. That's where I got.
Well, no, but she does it at Neiman's. That's all. I just do it at Dillard's because we don't have a Neiman's.
That makes sense.
Hi, Dawn Marie. Yes, that is how we met. Dawn Marie said, Danielle is the reason I have a sense of wood addiction. Yeah, I never knew her. She was one of the young ladies that was in perfumology, and she was doing, I was like, but what about this? So it's like, But
You know,
no,
it's fine. I met one of my friends in the Neiman Marcus in Dallas, like my first week here. We were both looking at perfumes, and she came up to me and said, "I think I follow you on TikTok." And I was like, "Oh, well, I guess now we know each other in real life." And so we've been really good friends since then. I don't know. Do you guys know Keitra? Fab Finds by Keitra?
Uh-uh.
She's based in Dallas. She's a face fragrance
no,
creator as
no.
well.
I think I follow her. I think I do
Keitra,
follow
yeah.
her.
So it's
Yeah.
Keitra. Like we met browsing fragrances at Neiman Marcus. So it really brings people together. I'm telling you, the fragrance department. I might meet my husband there. I might be reaching for a bottle and he's reaching for a bottle, and then our hands bump.
Won't there be no, 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 no? I met a man. Shh. And I was in there and he was like, "What you think? Smell me." I'm
Ooh,
like, "Oh no, this smells
oh,
the
that's
best."
kind of intimate. Like, let me
But
spray
this,
this
I
on your
know, but this
wrist.
smelled the best on you. Wait a minute, he was over there. He was like, "You think?" And my girlfriend works in Saks, and so Z goes, "Tell him to layer it." I was like, "Yeah." And then if you spray them all up on him, he's like, "He bought that was a 3 perfume sale."
I
She
love
was
that. I love that. You just got, you got to know how to upsell.
that's
So
so much fun.
I have a question that came up in the chat, when I asked people for questions. And one of the things that they asked for, is it weird for you as someone who's been creating content and has such a following? Like, is it weird to be recognized in public? Like, if you're out just minding your business, is it weird when people like, hey, I know you, I follow you, I've been watching you? Like, is that weird ever for you?
It's never been weird. It's always like a surprise. I'm like, wait, what?
Okay.
Really? No, it's just like always surprising to me, and it will be at the most random places. Like one time, it was at the airport. I was on a flight, and the flight attendant was like, "I don't want to be weird, but I love your content. I follow you on TikTok, and you've made so many recommendations." She gave me some extra champagne, so that was really nice. But it's always in the most random places, and I'm just like, "Wow!" It's to me, it's very. It's always exciting when it happens because I'm still very shocked that people recognize me, I guess you could say. And
Well, I mean, you
so
are a whole celebrity, whether you like it or not.
I don't
Whether
think
you
I think
believe it or not, you
I'm
are.
still for me from Oklahoma City. So
Oh,
that's
that don't mean you're not still Funmi from Oklahoma City, but you are
yeah.
a celebrity. So let's talk about I mean, honestly, I had to explain that to somebody and they started laughing at me when I said it. And you would have thought that the man, like call mama a bitch the way the girlies came for him. Okay. Because he was like, "Well, who is Funmi?" And I was like, I said, "The mother of perfume talk." And he was like, "Well, I've never heard of her." It was like, I don't even know like
Damn.
where the girlies came from. It was like, because he said it like she can't be anybody because I've never heard of her. And the way they came, I don't know where they came from. You had some superpowers. You put it the Funmi nails clicked out into the. I don't know what happened, but they had to come get him right together. Okay, like it
You know
was.
what though? I will say I'm glad to hear that there are still people that don't know who I am. Because all it does is remind me that there's still so much room to grow and to reach new people. And so I don't know, it has never clicked to me because I think so many of my other friends, like I know so many people that have a much bigger following than myself. And so when I think about people that have significantly larger, I have friends that have 2, 5, 10 million followers, like in the grand scheme of things, I still feel like I'm a goldfish in the pond. But I always it makes me happy that people feel comfortable to say hello to me. I never want someone to like take a photo of me, while I'm at the car wash and be like, "Hey, I saw you at the car wash." Like, "Oh, you could have just said hello." And so I always tell people, if you see me in public, you can say hello. I'm fine with that. I'll probably ask you what fragrance you're wearing today and have you bought a bottle of Exalté.
There
So
you go.
don't
That's
say
what
hello to
you're
me
doing.
unless you're ready to answer that question. I'm like, "Oh, and have you tried my fragrance?" And I might have some to try and spray on you while I'm there. I always pull one out of I'm like, "You've never tried it? Let me." So I love it though.
So how
I'll
did
be
you
completely honest with you. Until we set up this interview, I had never heard of you before, but I haven't ever been on social media. I only got on social media last December.
Yeah.
I just learned how to log into TikTok 2 weeks ago. So, I mean,
You're doing better than my parents still don't know how to log in. They don't even have
yeah,
it on their
I
phone.
had absolutely no presence, never watched any videos, nothing, YouTube, but that's it. I can go, it's browser based. I didn't have to have
Yeah.
any kind of app. So, I mean, I'm still learning how to navigate all of these platforms. And she'll say, "Oh, did you see this video from somebody?" And I'm like, who is that? Am I supposed to know who that person is? Oh, he's this or she's that. I'm like, again, like I barely know what platform you're talking about, let alone, what their content is about.
I will say, honestly, the one thing that makes me happy is that when people do bring up my name and that person doesn't know, I'd say almost every single time it's, well, this is someone you should know. This is someone whose content I enjoy. This is someone who's always very nice. This is someone who always takes time to respond to my DMs. This is someone whose fragrance I really enjoy. This is someone who's made amazing recommendations I enjoy. So I think like I don't get offended when people say, "Oh, who is she?" Like she's nobody. I'm like, well, I mean,
But I think the fact that the people who come to you or to your rescue, for no other way to say it, it's like it's not just who's speaking about me in rooms I'm not in, but it's how are they speaking about me.
yeah,
And if what people have to say about you when you're not in the room is always positive, then you are absolutely doing it right. Which
yeah.
leads us to one of the big questions we've been asked over and over again. How is it that you're able to stay so humble? How are you able to maintain the I'm just Funmi from Oklahoma?
I have a little sister. If any, does anyone is anyone else here the biggest sister? God gave us little sisters to keep us humble in life because my sister does not give a damn. She does not care. It's funny because so my sister and I went to see Beyonce together in Houston. And as we were leaving, we have floor seats. It was an incredible show. As we were leaving, like three different women came up to me and said, "We follow you on TikTok. We love your recommendations." One lady said, I just bought a fragrance you recommended me a couple weeks ago. And she said, "You know what?" My sister said this. She said, "You know what, Fumi? I always get onto you about, not getting a big head, as you grow on social media." She said, "But she said, I really appreciate how you interact with people when they come up to you and talk to you in public." She said, like, she said, "You're so much nicer than you are when we talk. Like when we talk, you act like the grumpiest McGrumpster in the world." And I was like, "Well, I mean, you're my sister. I have to be grumpy to you. I can't be grumpy to anybody else." But it was cool for her to see that because I think she's never really seen that before. So I guess maybe she'll put a little respect on my name now.
Well,
Probably
Eloisa
not.
wants you to know that when she meets you in public, you don't have to worry because she'll be able to pull out her bottle of Exalte out of her purse where it lives
Period.
before you can pull yours out.
Clink
Okay.
clink. Love
Okay.
it. Love
And
it.
another wants you to know that she had talked to somebody about Exalte, and she said the girl came back 2 weeks later to work like she had absolutely changed her life. Oh,
Wow.
okay. So they're very excited about it. And I've got to let you know, when I tell you excited about it, when we posted your link, immediately, like within 15 minutes, there were like 9 posts of just bought it, just ordered it, got it on the way. And and they were blind buys. They were really, I love her personality. If we selling these bottles, she need to sell bottles, we buying bottles. So we're going to get there. Okay. So
Thank
how
you
did that
guys.
first collaboration come out? Because hey, my DD Sense. Okay, so this is the thing. So we've got all the TikTok folks. I don't know their TikTok names. So they're let me know. Yes, they're telling me they love Funmi. So I'm actually okay. So I am also, we've got moderators, but I'm actually watching the YouTube screen, the Facebook screen, and what's going on over there on Instagram. So I'm watching all of them. That's why I keep looking all around. So I've
No,
got
you're
all the
good.
screens up. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I say you're good. You're good. I love that. Like they coming in from everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
coming
they
in from
are.
everywhere. So
If
they're
all of our
very
eyes are darting, it's because we're all watching multiple screens right now.
yeah.
So
So
it's
I
not
just
that
want to know that. It's like that's why we're
we're
like,
not all
okay,
distracted.
No, you're good.
We all don't need Adderall, but
we're not
trying.
we're paying attention. We just got to make sure they're paying attention for them as well. So they one of the things I just talked about is
Yeah.
you were the very first of the influencer collaborations. Like how? That
It
was
was
absolutely a new thing.
it was
So
so new. It was so new and it was so unexpected, if I'm being honest, because I grew up in the era where I didn't know fragrance influencers. I grew up with beauty influencers. And so my favorite makeup influencers, when I saw them getting collaborations, these are people that would have a million followers or several million followers. Like that's what I saw.
mhm.
So when this company came to me, when Bella Ora came to me and said, "Hey, Fumi, we've been following you on social media. We love your attitude. We love your taste in fragrances. We love how you connect with your community. they said, we're actually thinking of launching our own fragrance brand. They're actually a skincare brand that wanted to expand into fragrance, the fragrance space, because the one of the owners of the brand, she used to work in like fashion, so she had a lot of connections in the fragrance space from working in fashion. She said, "So, would you like to create your own fragrance as kind of like a almost like a guinea pig? Like just this, we want to see what this process is like. We want to work on a fragrance, see what it's like to expand into this space." And so for me, there was no question about it. I just thought, oh my God, I feel like the luckiest person in the world because I didn't have to have 1 million followers first. And as you know, in the space, Black creators don't necessarily grow at the same rate as like our non-Black peers. And so I thought to myself, if I had to wait till 1 million followers, might be
Waiting
waiting
forever.
until I might be waiting till the rapture. So I to me it was like kind of a no-go, but I was also really grateful that they allowed me to have full creative control of the project. I'd always imagined what it would be like to launch my first fragrance, my own fragrance. And I knew I wanted it to be a fragrance that gave signature, something that needed to be iconic, timeless, and something people feel comfortable wearing daily in any season. So it wasn't going to be something trendy. It wasn't going to be like a gourmand or something trendy. I just wanted it to be able to stand on its own. And so when I started thinking about what that would smell like, what would that would be like, I wanted to include my favorite fragrance note, which is Turkish rose. I really love Turkish rose. I have so many fragrances with Turkish rose, and it's always felt very classy and timeless to me. But I never wanted it to give like grandma or dated. Like I wanted something that was sexy, but also like really elevated. And that's where the name Exalté came from. It's a French word for elevated and, kind of something that's like on a pedestal, right? And so I thought that's how I want people to smell that's how I want people to feel when they smell this fragrance. And when they wear it, I want them to feel like they're elevated and very chic and just like on cloud nine. And so Exalté represents that feeling that I wanted other people to have when they wore the fragrance.
Well, now, so the fragrance comes out, and then immediately Fumi goes on her year of elevating herself.
Ooh, the auntie journey.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what's funny? I don't that name Beyonce. It came from a random no username 5765431, right? With no profile picture, had commented on one of my videos and just said it's giving auntie. And I don't even know who this person is, but for some reason, that one comment just like it hit below my armor. And I just thought to myself, I needed to stop giving auntie. I don't know who you are, but I don't want it to give auntie anymore. So I started just kind of looking at myself and asking, where in my life can I elevate my look, right? Like, I think that there's so many things that we do sometimes because we're doing it from a place of this is comfortable for me, and I don't really care to maybe learn how to do something different. And so, for example, I always kind of wore the same hairstyle because I felt comfortable with this hairstyle and I don't care to learn how to do something different. And so, experimenting with my hair, experimenting with my clothes, experimenting with my makeup, my style, and just everything, even my mental health, going to therapy and kind of unpacking, why do you feel like you have to be so serious all the time? Can you laugh at yourself? And I thought, no, if I laugh at myself, everybody will laugh at me. And then my therapist said, sometimes it's okay to laugh. Like sometimes you can just laugh. And all of those things really came together. And I not only feel like I updated my look, I feel like I really let go of a lot of weight and baggage and things I was carrying that I think was dragging me down. I feel lighter.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think that for me, watching you on Instagram was what endeared you to my space. Because I mean, you can give me a fragrance consult and tell me to do this, and that was fun. What made me want to watch was the elevation journey. I like the idea of becoming. Because I mean, I think we're always in a state of becoming. I liked how open and honest you are about it. I'm gonna tell you, I always laugh because you go, "Oh, this is my throwaway page." I'm like, "That's the one I'm on." Go gadget. I'm like, "What we doing? What we do? Oh, what? Oh, what happened? What they say to her? Oh no, why we fighting?" I'm over there for that. Okay, like I said again, You know, I can the perfume content. I love it. I love the recommendations. But Fumi, that's the reason I buy. That's what
Thank you.
motivates me, and that's why we
Thank
wanted to
you.
have you on because you know you got when you have a personality that people connect with, they also understand the artistry
Mm,
of what it is they're trying to create and why they're
mm.
trying to create it. Oh, they're all saying it's the burner page for me, baby.
Oh my
It's the
gosh,
burner page. It's the
it's
burner page.
crazy.
Okay.
When I go to brand events, like the people on the brand team will tell me, "We love your content, but we found your burner account." I'm like, "Damn it!" They're like, "No, it's so funny. Like you're so real there. You'll talk about anything. You'll talk about a bad date that you went on, and then you'll talk about a bad haircut you had, and then you'll talk about something really real about how you're looking for a church and how you're dealing with being an oldest daughter. Like you just, it's so real." And I mean, I appreciate that. They they like my candor, but that page was totally made just because I was like, sometimes I have stuff to say that doesn't have anything to do with fragrance, or it doesn't really fit on my main page, and I just wanted a throwaway account to be able to come on there and talk my shit.
Look, we all gotta have a space to do it.
Go
Okay.
go gadget, go
Yeah.
gadget,
So
activate.
I don't know if all Factory Outlaws is following that page, but don't worry, they will be. Oh, that Edith, that's the one. I might delete this later, and it don't never get deleted.
That's what happened. Okay, it was my okay. Actually, okay. So I started a catchphrase called "This message will self-destruct in 24 hours." I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, and anytime he picks up the call, it says "This message will self-destruct in 10 seconds." So I started doing those videos on my main page because sometimes I would have stuff to say that I'm like, I probably shouldn't keep this up. And one time, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'll tell you guys. I made a video once, and it was I thought it was a helpful video, but then Sephora messaged me the next morning and said, "Fumi, we love your enthusiasm, but we do need you to you can't tell them stuff like that. You can't say this doesn't matter. You can't say like we don't consider XYZ. Like, can you just, modify your statement? But we love the enthusiasm. Like, we went through the comments, everybody was it seemed like the messaging made people feel empowered. So it wasn't like, hey, you need to take this down. I didn't take it down. It actually popped up on my memories a couple weeks ago. But I will say after that, I was like, I probably should actually start taking these down after 24 hours. And so that's why I created a space where I can put the videos that should get taken down, I can put them in one place.
Well, so I will say I'm on YouTube, so I'm moderating there, and you have people that are all over your self-destruct. And one lady says it's that wakes her up in the day, like it's what starts her day is to see what's going to self-destruct. And then that same person also said that she met you once and you made her feel so great on a day that was really, really tough. So she got to see your humility in person. And then the people that don't know where that burner count is located, like they're asking. So I think we'll have to like put a
Yes,
link
we
for
will.
everyone later.
It's a secret. Like it will
Go
pop up
look at
when you
YouTube.
least expect it. That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized. It pops up when you least expect it. So I like it to
Well, so
be
the first
like,
time I saw it, I'm looking. I'm like, I know this lady. The first time I was like, I'm like, is this a like? I was like, so I was like, well, maybe they banned the account because it does happen. So I'm like, I'm like, isn't this the same lady? Because you don't say your name on the page, you just start talking,
because
and
everything's alleged.
yeah. So I was like, I'm like, I do know. I'm like, it looks like maybe I'm crazy. And I was like, oh, but then when you started talking, I was like, oh, I know the voice. I definitely know the voice. Because, okay, so let me tell you level of auntie I am. I tell everybody, you want some views? All you got to do is send me your video at around 10:15 because you're going to get all the views because I'm an auntie and I go to bed early and I will fall asleep with your joint playing and it will keep playing. So I will wake up at 4:00 to go to the bathroom and it still be going. And like so much so that it's like in my dreams. Like
That's
I'm
so
having a
funny. I need
dream.
to start sending you my sponsored content. That way it can get the views up. The
So
brand.
I'm trying to tell you,
Like, I
you
need to get my
can
views up on my
win
sponsored content. That's a
because
good
you will have
strategy.
8 hours of watch time from like.
I love that. That's so funny.
But so I was like, well, maybe it's not, maybe it is, just so crazy. So
That's so
now
funny.
going back to Exalte, you
Yeah.
told us that you wanted, so now we know, pay attention, favorite note, Turkish rose. Tell
Mhm.
us what vibe you wanted to give. You told us you wanted to feel like you were elevating. You wanted it to feel like it was something that you could be luxurious in your everyday life. So how
Mhm.
did you achieve that?
I thought about what other brands have as their iconic scent, right? And not to say like I was inspired by another brand's fragrance, but I thought to myself, what would be my Chanel number 5?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like every brand has their Chanel number 5. Like with Francis Kurkdjian, he has Baccarat Rouge, like that's his Chanel number 5. With
10th
Gucci,
anniversary was yesterday.
and then you just launched that like $28,000 bottle, so
Mm-hmm.
I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many payments I can put on Klarna to get that one.
I don't
I'll
know.
figure it out. I don't know if I don't know if my Klarna amount will let me get it, but I'll figure it out. So I thought like, what does it mean to have your Chanel number 5? And to me, it just meant having a timeless fragrance. When I got this opportunity, I honestly thought it would be one and done. I did not expect there to be multiple fragrances. I didn't think. I don't think I was delusional enough at the time to think, oh, well, maybe another brand will want to work with me again after this. I just thought, well, if this is it, then I got to make it count. And so I wanted a floral that wasn't a obvious floral. One thing that people often tell me is that even though Exaltate is unabashedly a rose fragrance, it's not a rose fragrance. Because I have so many people that will tell me I don't like rose perfume and I love Exaltate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because a lot of times with rose perfumes on the market, I think especially very mainstream perfumes, they're either very, very powdery or very, very sharp. And Exaltate is just very, very creamy. It's like creamy and airy and, it just sits on your skin so pretty. So I think for people that are used to a certain type of rose fragrance, Exaltate is a surprise for them. And I really appreciate that, because when you're in this space where we're dealing with people that have hundreds of fragrances, not 10 fragrances, or not have been buying the same fragrance since high school, but people that have a pretty big collection. And so I think for people that have, whether you have very few fragrances or whether you have a lot of fragrances, I think there's been a mutual appreciation of, the type of fragrance Exaltate is. So that makes me really happy.
So now you have Exalte. It hits the market. And what happens?
We have the big one. I don't know if you're. Oh, we started with the big bottle, and I
Child,
know everyone's gonna
that
start
sold out.
asking.
I was
No,
so
it's not for sale.
I never got it. It sold out like
It sold out so quick. But this was our first bottle. Can I just go ahead and tell you that I was okay? I'm just gonna tell you guys another thing. I look a certain way, but I have a very dirty mouth. So I'm just gonna tell you, I was shitting myself when the company. I'm so sorry. I had to be honest.
I
People
curse
look
like
at
a
me and think
sailor.
I'm a certain way, but I'm like, I'm gonna talk how I talk.
Go
So
for it.
It's a
okay.
safe space here.
Okay, I was shitting myself when the brand told me we're gonna sell this perfume for $250. Obviously, I don't control the cost of the fragrance or any of the other things outside of providing creative direction. I love that we had a magnetic cap. That was really important to me because I love it. It's like ASMR. I love that. And then my signature was on the bottle. And then we did the green box. That's a soft touch box. I love the green because I'm Nigerian. So, Nigeria know they carry
That's
last.
a fact.
So I wanted that
Right.
green to represent, my heritage. I love the green and gold because that just felt really elevated and luxe to me. I have my
Green
signature
and
on the
gold.
bottle or on the box as well as on the smaller size. But with that being said, I don't control the price or anything else. So when they said it's gonna be for 250, I was like, you guys don't understand. At that time I had 100,000 followers. I had maybe, I don't even think I had 100. I don't think I even had 100,000 on IG yet. It was TikTok. I had 100,000 on TikTok. I had 50,000 on IG. I said, you guys don't understand. These people are going to eat me up online. They're not going to buy a fragrance for $250. And they said, well, that's how much it costs because we worked with a French perfumer. We worked with this distributor. We had to get it from France. So this is the cost of the cost. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna be fighting these people. I don't even will I make a sale? Like I'm gonna be fighting every day. I'll be trying to justify to these people why the cost is the cost. I will say that something that helped was we did a launch in Dallas. So we launched that in Dallas at the Scent Room. I had a very good relationship with the Scent Room. I brought them a lot of business. So when I said, hey, I'm launching my own fragrance, they said we'd love to carry some in store. and we'll host your launch party. So we launched in Dallas. So many people got a chance to come and smell it and purchase it in store. And so we started getting very organic reviews online from people. We sent out a few PR boxes, like 10, honestly. But I think the biggest thing was just the word of mouth. And I think the trust. One of the messaging that I put out was, you guys have been following me now for 2 or 3 years online. You know, you've been following me at least for 2 years, and I've recommended everything to you. You know, I one of my favorite perfume brands, Simone Andreoli. Uh, the summer I moved to Dallas in 2021, I bought my first fragrance from him at the Scent Room, and it's called Leisure in Paradise. And I remember wearing it one weekend, and I just got so many compliments. I came online and did a video about it. It sold out for 6 months everywhere.
And I
It was
heard
not
you say,
available in the
I heard you
US.
say earlier that's your most complimented fragrance of all.
It
Because
still
I was in
is.
your live this morning when you were getting ready, or not this morning, but this afternoon, and someone
Yeah.
asked you that. And so that is your most like complimented fragrance of all. And that's awesome.
Thank you. But no, seriously, like I thought, wow, like for 2 years you have trusted you guys have trusted me to recommend you fragrances that you have blindly purchased, because Simone Andreoli at the time wasn't available in any store outside of the Scent Room. So you have to go online to buy it. It was $189. I remember there was a time when I sold out Dior Oud Ispahan because the Dior team reached out to me
Yep.
a month later. They said, we were wondering what happened with our inventory. Like usually we order so much inventory every few months and it's supposed to last us, and we saw that this inventory had run out, and they said, where did this come, like what happened? Your video sold us out. This is a $300 perfume. So my mentality was, for 2 years you have blind purchased so many fragrances I've recommended. Why would the fragrance I work on be different? Why would the trust that you have from my fragrance be any different from the trust that from any of these other brands, whether French, Italian, Middle Eastern? You trust me to recommend them and you love them. So I would really appreciate the same trust for something I worked on as well. If it's my taste that is what you trust. So it was scary, but
Do
we
you feel
sold
like
out.
it may have been um a little bit of the imposter syndrome
It
creeping
was.
in?
I think it was. I mean, and honestly speaking, $250 is a lot for it. Now it's not anymore, because now Francis Kurkdjian is selling one for 28,000, and now Parfums de Marly, their fragrance is $410 now for
Okay.
75 mLs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that for me, as for my first product, it was a scary number for me, because I knew that if there's an issue with this fragrance, it's not the company that people will be emailing to say, we don't like the quality of this, so this is Bella Ora's fault. This is Fumi's fault.
This is what we
And
saw.
so I wanted people to feel like, if you're buying this at this price, this is worth it to you. And
It was.
it sold out.
As I said, I did not get 100 ml. I was very salty about it. And I think I told you that online. I didn't even know that there was a launch of the smaller bottles. So let's talk about the
Yes.
30 mLs.
So then we
So,
sold out. We sold out within the first 6 months. I think there were a lot of factors that contributed. Obviously, word of mouth, but then there were my creator friends that supported it.
mhm.
Mona bought it. She didn't tell me she was going to buy it, but one day I woke up online and I had like 10,000 new followers. And I just was thinking, did I post something yesterday? But Mona had bought it and reviewed it and posted it on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I remember messaging her like, oh, I would have been happy to send you a bottle. She was like, no, I wanted to
No,
support you. And so she
exactly.
bought it. And then Jackie bought it.
I saw.
And Miss Jackie Asamoah. It's funny because there were a couple weeks where she would be in her room making content. And my friends would send me screenshots of her perfume shelf and say, is that Exalté on her shelf? And I just thought, no, I don't think so. Like, she hasn't said anything to me about buying it. I mean, I don't know. And my friends would send me screenshots like zoomed in
Like,
of her
I'm
perfume shelf.
sure
Like,
this is what
no,
this
that
is.
that looks like Exalté on her shelf. And I'm like, no, guys, like, no, I don't think so. There's probably a lot of bottles that look like. And then one day she popped up with a review of Exalté. And I think at that point, to be honest, that's when a lot of people probably, because we sold out not too long after that. After between Mona and Jackie, we sold out. And I think a lot of people started realizing, oh, this is like a serious, like this is not like
Real
a
fragrance.
merch.
It's real
Like this
fragrance.
is a real fragrance. And
Real fragrance.
these people bought it. And so it felt very validating, honestly, because I mean, obviously I was a considerably smaller creator than both of them, but I also felt so supported in that moment, and it really meant a lot. So yeah, we sold out, and then we listened to the feedback because the girls said 250 is a little bit high. Can we get a new size? And so that's when we launched our 30 ml. This is 30 mls.
So I was confused about that because it looks like what we think of as a 10 and I speak English, 10 ml.
Yes.
So and then somebody said to me, no, it's a 30, it's a 30. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, it's 30. It's 1 fluid ounce.
Edith said she's reminding people that she told people they need to go buy a bottle because it's still on sale. And okay, of course, there's a lot of girl power, but I'm going to tell you,
and people are hoarding their bottles that they have. The ones that got the 100 mils, they're hoarding it, so they're not.
Shout
They're
out to
using
the
it
100 ml
sparingly.
gang.
Really? So you're just going to throw them?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
She
I
laughed.
mean,
anyway,
30 mils is great too. The 30 mils is great too.
But one of you may get a chance to win.
Woo! So 3 of you.
3 of you, actually.
Yes.
It's my birthday week. I'm feeling generous.
Yes. And they are signed. So not
Yes.
just signed on the package. They are going to be your piece of history. So you still need to go buy one, even if you go and you win one, because you can't touch that one. You can't wear that. She said, oh, she said, it's me and my 5 bottles of Exalté against the world.
No, really, against the world. It feels so right. I love it.
Well, don't ever invite me over because you might have 4. I'm gonna just tell
Someone said leave your window open at night. I just want to see.
I saw somebody on your live earlier saying, "Girl, you better lock your doors and lock your windows because you're always in front of your thing." And they're scared for you.
I know.
I know. I saw a video and you were packing to go somewhere and you were like, and of course I have my own 100 mLs of Exalté because I wouldn't go anywhere without. I think you might have been going to Dubai.
It was when I went to Dubai.
All this fragrance to Dubai, and I'm like, because do I need to go to Dubai to get one? This 100 ml, is that what she's saying? If you go
because
there?
everything else was replaceable. My collection is largely replaceable. So if something happened while I was gone, God forbid, I still would have this.
Well,
this is not
I'm mad at you,
replaceable.
girl, that is history, but it's for you, your personal history.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of the past, what about the future? Let's fast forward.
Man, it's crazy because I think the success of that first fragrance, I feel like it almost made us overzealous with the success of the second fragrance because we ordered a lot of inventory. I will say that. And I think part of the confusion a lot of people have regarding, well, why is Exalté still available? It's supposed to be limited edition. You launched in 2022. It's 2025 now. It's obviously still available. And I will say it's available because there's still inventory left. When something is limited edition, like a partnership, primarily, usually there's not a reorder. So it's kind of like with most influencers too. I'm sure you're familiar with influencer collaborations. They usually just order.
No, we're not familiar. So you have to tell us, Funmi.
Okay, sorry. So let me backtrack. So with influencer collaborations, most of the time, whether it's a fragrance, makeup, skincare, whatever type of collaboration, even fashion, you do a run of product. So let's say you order 1,000 units. I'm just giving a very low number, but let's say you order like 1,000 units. Once that 1,000 is sold, it's done. Like you don't plan to reorder more unless the demand is just insane. And so with our first run of Exalté, it did so well that we said, okay, let's restock, but let's restock in a smaller size because that seems to be what everyone is requesting. So we restocked with this size, not a new fragrance, but just the same fragrance in a different size as a way to kind of give an option. But it just was a lot of inventory. And with my acceptance last year into the Sephora Accelerate, I realized, it's truly time to put an end to this chapter of my life because I'm moving into a new space. I'm moving into, being a founder, CEO, and creative director and perfumer and the everything. I'm really the everything of my new brand. And I cannot put all my energy into making my new brand amazing if I'm still also trying to sell this as well. And then in addition, I obviously needed to sell it so I could move on with my contract with Sephora too. Because as a new brand, you also have to sign a retailer contract with Sephora, which it does involve exclusivity to a certain degree. So I realized, wow, I woke up one day and realized there's a lot of urgency behind finishing out this inventory. I could no longer be a passive part of trying to get this sold. Like I needed to really put my whole foot on the accelerator. And so selling this out is it's 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 really about being able to close this chapter of my life because Exalte opened this door for my Sephora opportunity. Besides being, the fragrance girl, that's what Sephora calls me. They're like, you're our go-to fragrance girl. They said, you also made such a beautiful fragrance that there's no way this can be the only thing you have left. They said, we know that there's still more inside you. And I felt really touched by that because for the longest time, I felt like maybe this is it for me, and Sephora said, no, you don't have to sit around and hope that another brand wants to collaborate with you. You can
You
actually
are
make your own brand. You are enough to stand on your own with your own brand. You don't need to wait for someone to throw you a crumb. You have your table that you can eat at. So with that being said, I'm so excited for the future, and I've been working so hard. I mean, tirelessly, night and day, doing everything in my power possible to launch a really beautiful legacy brand, with Influxious, because I think it truly reflects my passion with perfumery, but also with community and connecting and making sure that people feel good when they put my fragrance on.
So before we start
So
talking about Influxious, let's go to some comments
Okay.
because we have a question that's been asked a few times. And one is, knowing that you're now a perfumer, because we're going to talk about that journey as well, who would you say are your 3 favorite perfumers?
Mm, okay. I got to recently meet Jerome Epinette. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna let you know I made a C minus in French in college, so my
That's okay,
French
girl. I can't never
pronunciations.
say none of it.
But Jerome,
But
I got
that's
to meet him
okay
last
because
month.
Grown and Chic is in here, and she's the Cameroonian, French
Okay. It's
Cameroonian.
so
So
embarrassing.
she's
It's
gonna
honestly
come fix
so
it for us. So
embarrassing.
let us know what it.
It's like sometimes I'm like, sorry, y'all. It's just my Oklahoma coming through. So I got to meet Jerome Epinette in last month in when I was in, and I literally had a fangirl moment. But I saw we were at a brunch with the brand, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. I love him. I think he's fabulous. I love his work. He's worked with everybody from very, very affordable brands to very, very high end brands. His work is very, very diverse, and I really like his. How do you say this? He's innovative with creating new fragrance profiles. I know everybody says this, but I do love Clinton Beach. Like he just really stretches his creativity with how he's putting out stuff that's just so iconic. And then there's a perfumer that I really like. This guy. His name is Vincent Record. He's based in Paris. I tapped him in to work with Influxious, so that was really big. But he's made a few of my favorite fragrances in recent years. I just think he does gourmands really well. Like I think he's just really brilliant with gourmands and florals, and in a way that's it just feels ethereal and it just makes you feel yummy. Like I feel like he just does yummy fragrances so well. So I'd say those are my 3.
Okay. Um. Then no, we had the 3. What was the what was the third one? Was it? Yeah. So who was the
Vincent.
third? It was
Vincent
here. She
Record.
said Vincent question mark. That's
Record.
correct, right? That's
Yeah.
the first one, right? Okay. And I knew Quentin would be in your top 3. I feel like Quentin is in everybody's top 3. Just in
It's
different.
like it's like naming your top 3 basketball players and not saying Michael Jordan. Like who,
Right.
yeah, pretty
You
much.
can't.
you can't do it.
You just can't. I'm trying looking at all the questions over here.
With your new line on the horizon and the supplies dwindling with the current stock that you have on Exalt.
It's okay.
I know. Do you have an option, having been the driving force behind that fragrance, to purchase the formula to have it for your company if, in fact, in the future you wanted to do like a re-release?
So, with fragrance, technically you don't own a formulation once it's created, but I will say that I'm not in a hurry to recreate it only because I'm moving in such a different direction with Influxious. I'm working with so many different perfumers, and it's I feel like I'm reassuring people when I say this. As a Virgo, this is Exalte is so beautiful, and this was a really good idea. It's not even my best idea. I haven't even tapped into my best ideas yet. I'm still getting my wings. I went to perfume school. I'm still learning so much. So imagine I made this gorgeous fragrance and very high quality juice with just all I had was passion, not even any education. Now I have education and passion and experience. So what would the next round look like?
So everybody wants to know about Paris, and I know we're going to get there at some point, but I mean, that is my inbox is personally flooded. People want to know all about Paris. Like, what was the journey? How was it like? It seemed short, so they don't know if you're going back, if perfume school is over. Like, they want to know all the things. So if you can kind of break down, the last Paris trip and is there another, and just kind of talk about that, that would be
Okay.
amazing.
Paris is done. I didn't actually move to Paris. I'm sorry. I was trying to beat the algorithm with some clickbait. So I apologize if that confused you. I went to Paris for a summer program at ISIPCA, and ISIPCA is a perfumery school. They do have 3-year programs as well as like master's degree programs in different areas of flavor and taste. Like Francis Kirkjian actually trained at the school. Like that's where he received his education. They've graduated so many esteemed perfumers in this industry. So they actually have summer programs. They're just 2 weeks long, but it's a fully immersive course that's from like 8 to 5 every day. And you go in and you learn about perfumery. You get to work in the lab every day and handle raw materials, and that's the route I chose to go because I felt like something was still better than nothing. I am not in a place in my life right now where I can pack up and move to Paris for 3 years. I'm turning 35 this week. So I feel like that would be a lot to be away from my family and also to be away from ground zero where my team is when I'm building my brand here in the US. But when I learned about the summer program, one of my friends is actually going to school there. She recommended it. She said, you know what, Fumi, you will learn a lot in just in those 2-3 weeks that you're there. And so I got to go to perfume school, and I was sponsored by the Black Fragrance Association. And so that was also incredible because they paid my tuition and my lodging and my airfare. So I got to go, and I was a recipient of their Black Perfumer Scholarship. So
That's
I'm a trained perfumer. I'm not a degreed perfumer, but I am trained in perfumery. So it's pretty nice.
So I'm trying to tell you, we were like, they let her talk about it. We were like, cause we're so especially Justin, the nerd. And you can tell Justin's a nerd amongst us. And so he's like, no, he's like, how is she having time to TikTok? She's gonna have to like leave everything alone because it's so immersive. And I'm like, I don't know, because I done been on Go Gadget Funmi every night. What are you talking about? So
I was, what's funny? I was vlogging. I feel like I was most active on Go Gadget during Paris.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That content was going triple platinum on that side of the TikTok.
That's funny. Someone wanted to know when constructing a scent. Heather wants to know: are the notes more important to you, or are you looking for longevity to be more important? Like what's most important to you when you're creating a fragrance? Is it really the scent profile out of the gate? Is it the story behind it? Like as the creator and the perfumer, what's most important?
Well, the first thing I create is the story because I have to have an inspiration behind what goes into the fragrance, right? I work with the fragrance house, so you guys know like Firmenich, Givaudan, IFF. So I work with one of the big fragrance houses. I don't want to say who yet, just because I'm trying to.
Yeah, we keep.
Just I don't want my ops knowing where my stuff is.
When you come back, when you come back, after it's launch time, we're ready.
After that, because they'll do a whole launch too, obviously as a new brand. But until then, I'm keeping. I don't know if my ops are in here right now. They might be taking notes. I don't want to give them too much information before I launch. But I think about the inspiration when I'm working with my perfumer, and one of the things that really helped me is while I was in Paris, I had dinner with Bernardo from the House of Beau. They're one of the founders. Mm-hmm. He's the creative director at House of Beau as well, and he said to me, Fumi, when you're making your fragrances, be as detailed as possible with your creative deck.
Your brief.
And so he said, put everything that you can imagine in there. Put what kind of outfit this person would wear, what time of day they would wear this fragrance, what kind of job does this person have, what kind of drink do they like, what kind of music do they listen to, anything that you can imagine that this person in, you know, this imaginary person in your fragrance universe would, what kind of person they would be and how they would like your fragrance. So when I made my fragrance deck, my creative deck had like 40 pages. When I sent it, when I sent it to my fragrance house, and they shared that with the perfumers that were assigned to my fragrances. I guess that's an exclusive fragrances that we're working on. And
Oh, don't
so
worry, because that's one of the questions that everybody has.
so it was really helpful because they were able to get the story and the music and everything. I feel like I experienced fragrance in 3D. It's not just okay, does it smell good and does it last long? It's a fully immersive world for me, and I'm creating a world that I want to feel immersive to the person that wears my fragrance as well.
So
So
can you
let me
draw on your mental health schooling psychology background then when creating your brief, and then you can actually make those 40-page long because you're seeing and you're actually tapping into all of that from your studies, and I want this person to be able to feel this, and so if I want them to feel this, I have to bring out this. Like, does any of that help with that?
I think it does because some fragrances are meant for certain occasions. Like, you know, like I said, I think about where they would wear this to and how they would feel wearing this. Like, let's say I want to create a wedding day fragrance. Like, what are the emotions I want this fragrance to capture? You know, maybe the anticipation and the nervousness, you know, of a bride on her wedding morning, and the wet dew on the ground as she steps out in her wedding dress, and the feeling, an ethereal feeling of that, the tulle, you know, and the silk from her wedding gown, you know, floating around her, and you know the shyness looking through the veil when you see your groom at the end of the aisle, you know, just all of those feelings. Like what would that smell like in a fragrance? So I'd say yes. I think being able to be tapped in with your emotions, but also being able to be tapped into what is it that makes people even want to wear, like why do people want to wear fragrance really? And it's not just so I can get babes so panties can drop, you know. It's so I can feel
I get
good,
so
and
tired of hearing that.
so I can feel good, and so that I can tap into something that already exists. Our the word I'm looking for is our motto, but it's not the motto. It's another word. If you think of it, our our motto within Fluxus is that, you know, there's already something beautiful inside you, that fragrance just brings it up to the surface. So when you wear a fragrance because you want to feel confident that day, let's say you put on creative ventus because you have a big interview and you want to feel confident, you creative ventus is not creating confidence, it's not creating that. The confidence already exists in you, but now by putting on this fragrance, you associate confidence with this fragrance, but the confidence
So
is
your
already
mission
there.
statement,
That's our
like
mission
your
statement.
bit.
Sorry, I'm
There
blanking
you
out a
go.
little bit.
Talk it out, you know.
Yeah.
So that is actually, you just answered one of the questions that everyone had. What is your, I guess they wanted to know what is your mission statement behind that, but what is the story that you want to tell? Because that was the question, whether or not it was more than one fragrance, and now we know it is. What is the story that you would like to tell with this initial launch?
Um, I think I think the biggest one is I want fragrance that feels exciting. So that's another thing. I'm just gonna be honest when I tell you guys this. A lot of times, if you're a new brand, unless you work with an independent perfumer, if you want to work with one of the big fragrance houses, which is usually very, that's what people want. Like everybody wants to say, oh, Firmenich made my fragrance, or IFF, or Givaudan. Like these are all fragrance houses that
Mhm.
very popular perfumers are also associated with. So, but the thing is that usually they have really big minimums. Like I won't say which fragrance house, but one of the fragrance houses I talked to, they had a $200,000 minimum for fragrance oils, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest. You know, I have 50K in a bottle of, you know, Beyonce's new whiskey. That's all I got. You
That's
know,
what I got. That's what I got.
so I don't know. Can we barter? Like, but no, like that 200K is the minimum for a new formula. Now, if you want something that's already in their library that you can tweak, they'll do that. And that's what a lot of fragrance brands, especially new brands coming into the market, will do in order to be able to work with these fragrance houses and start to build a relationship with them. They'll say, you know what, I don't have $200,000 for a brand new formula, but you know what, I do have 100K or a 50K. And with that 50K, we can give you an existing formula. We can give you a library of fragrances that kind of that suits what you're trying to do. Like if you're trying to launch a desert themed fragrance, for example, I'm just throwing it out, something desert themed, very Southwest themed. Like, you know, these are 10 fragrances that kind of fit that theme that we've made, and we can tweak it. Let's add more cactus, or let's add more kind of a dry note, or let's add more XYZ. Like basically they're going to tweak it, and you're not paying as much for a brand new formula. But for me, I thought to myself, well, that doesn't feel very exciting. You know, like you won't feel anything but familiarity when you feel when you smell this fragrance. Like you'll say, I like this, but why does it remind me of Marc Jacobs 2017?
Mhm.
You know, or why does it remind me of, this reminds me of Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille with a twist, you know, or something. So with that being said, you know, I had to be really intentional about, you know, finding a fragrance house that suited me and that also was willing to work with me within a very intimate type of way, because I knew that if they couldn't nail how I wanted these fragrances to smell, then the people that these people wouldn't be able to experience it the way I want them to. And I thought about how, like, as an influencer, we've driven so many trends in the space. I was in Italy. It was in Milan at Exance earlier this year, and I sat in on a lecture on a panel, and they were saying how social media, like TikTok specifically, they said TikTok has driven so many trends in the fragrance space. All these gourmands we're seeing now is literally because brands realize everyone wants to smell like a snack. No one wants to smell like Lily of the Valley anymore. Everyone wants to smell like marshmallow or pistachio or strawberry or cherry, whatever. And it's also a much easier story to sell if you're trying to get people to buy something online. People won't know what Lily of the Valley mixed with vetiver is. You know, most people don't even know what a vetiver is. You know, like,
Well,
but if you say,
no.
hey, this smells like cherries and whipped cream, that's an easy sell. And so gourmands are driving the industry right now because so many brands are doing DTC, and it's visualizing gourmands is so much. It's a familiar. It's like I said, it's that familiarity. And I'm so sorry I'm long-winded, but I thought to myself, well, damn, I've been driving this industry for 4 years. I've been a trendsetter for 4 years. You know, why can't I continue to set trends with my own brand?
Let me
Why
tell
can't
you.
I continue to be the person that's like, hey, this is going to be the new thing. I'm going to do it. I'll see you guys in a year. I'm ahead of my
Every
time.
single perfumer that has come on here, we always ask them, what do you want from us? And we're going to ask you the same thing. We're all
Mhm.
wrapping up, so you might as well think of your answer. How can we help you for where you want to go in the future? And you want to know literally every single one wants to know, because I told you our membership is a little bit different. These are more consumers than they are collectors.
Mhm.
Do you think that gourmands have a shelf life that's still 3 years out? Do you think, because they're still planning where they're going to be, so they're like, do we need to start getting more towards the boozy sense, or we still people still wanting to be a delectable delight? Do you see the florals coming back in? Do you see, are we changing? Are we going to be, we see the clean girl aesthetic in the makeup, are we going to the clean girl scent? And they always want to know that. So we're like their guinea pig fake influencers, right? So you can set the bar for where your industry is going to be going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the ladies want to know, because now I see it's 3 ladies, but we have a gentleman in there
Okay.
as well. So they want to know about when specifically do we need to have our coins together for this launch, because they need to buy the whole line. So they just need to know that they're ready. So an approximation on when we think we're going to be ready to be clicking. Okay.
Approximation. I can't give everything away, but I will tell you it will be mid 2026.
Okay, there you go. So there you go. So we're going to launch somewhere in mid 2026. So soon as Christmas over, save your money for your new launch of perfume. Okay,
Yeah.
so don't buy everything in the world. Make sure you got, since everything costs $250, we got to start there. So just have you $1,000 for 3 bottles. Be ready. Okay.
And I will say the price point will surprise you. You won't even
Okay.
need you won't need it. You won't need $1,000.
Well, yes, we do because we buy it by multiples because it's the initial line.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you could buy the whole line for under 1,000.
Amen. That's right. That they want you to know they here for it.
I appreciate you.
Also,
No, that's another thing. With going into Sephora, I also had to think, with the price point,
mhm,
it had to be a price point that made sense with the Sephora
clientele.
customer. Because the Sephora clientele is not the same as like the Neiman Marcus clientele or the clientele that shops at like, Scent Bar or Lucky Scent or, any of these other niche um, boutiques. So it's a very accessible price point. I will say I had to fight a lot with a lot of things with the materials because I did lean into custom bottles, custom caps, custom everything. I said, let's just do it. Why not? But I think everyone will be very surprised with what we put out.
Well, so there you go. They do want to know about that. Um, the materials and how did that work into that initial that buy-in that you were talking to? Did
Mhm.
you have to source the materials or their material, and did you learn about the process of sourcing materials yourself too?
Yeah, so with working with the fragrance house, I think something that people don't, this is an analogy I talked about earlier, so you probably remember me saying this, but the major perfume houses really do source out oils for almost every brand, whether the brand sells perfumes that are $15 or $1,500, right? But the thing is, it's like consider, let's say a Givaudan or Firmenich. Consider them a grocery store. You go into the grocery store because you need ingredients for a meal, right? And the chefs in the grocery store, right, are the people that prepare your meal. Some people, it's like hiring Gordon Ramsay, and you say, "Hey, Gordon, here's $20. I need you to make a meal for $20." Right? Those are brands that maybe are like have more affordable fragrances, but you still have Gordon Ramsay preparing it. So
Mhm.
he's going to prepare it to the best of his ability as Gordon Ramsay. So you're still going to get like a good meal. Like it's not going to be the meal that you can get at like, Golden Corral or
It may not
something.
be escargot, but it's still
But
going to be a
if I
Gordon
come into the
Ramsay.
store and I say, Gordon Ramsay, I have $1,000. This is my budget for a meal. Okay, I'm going to get a better meal from Gordon Ramsay with that $1,000 because now he's able to maybe use more ingredients to season my food and add more, accompaniments. And that's really what it's like when you shop at these fragrance houses. Like you come in and you say, "This is my budget," and they say, "Okay, with this budget, you can get captives, which are basically ingredients that they uh, they spend millions of dollars researching and developing that are available for clients at a certain price point, right? You get maybe if I say, okay, I want a fragrance that has a strawberry note, the perfumer is going to say, well, because of your budget, I can use 15 ingredients to make that one strawberry note. So that strawberry note is probably going to smell super realistic. But if I had a different budget, you'd say, I can still make you a strawberry note, but I can only use 3 ingredients to make it. It's still going to smell like strawberry, but it won't smell as good as the strawberry that has 15 ingredients.
Mhm.
So with that being said, I had to figure out, well, what is my budget going to be? Like, what is a good perfume oil budget for the quality of juice I'm wanting to create? And I had to talk. That's where my perfume professor came in from school. I talked to him. He said, for me, I've made fragrances for brands that had $5 for their budget, and I've made perfumes for brands that had $500. He said, and I think I did the best of my ability with each budget, but people don't seem to like. I think that's really one of the hard things right now in this space is communicating how, yes, this perfumer, this Quentin Beach guy who's very famous, did make this perfume for this brand, and this perfume was $50, but he also made the perfume for that brand, and their perfume is $500. It's like I said,
So,
it's like Gordon Ramsay. Yes, it's Gordon
example,
Ramsay, but two different budgets.
last night, I went to the launch of Bon Parfumer in Perfumology, and their newest perfume is a Quentin Beach creation.
I
And Shadow Myrrh 100 mils is 225.
yeah.
It's a beautiful fragrance. You definitely know that it's a Quentin Beach. And we have, a Boyce and Bois Imperial is $100. It's a Quentin Beach.
Yeah.
And as extants and decisions are $400 and they are Quentin Beach.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're different materials. I still catch the DNA. I think that every single one of those that I just mentioned are absolutely beautiful fragrances that stand on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this concept, and that is actually where Justin comes in for us, because he will have us searching for a mind games designed by whoever. We'll have us searching for Banana Republic because it's from the perfumer that actually did Danielle. It's your favorite mind game, so we're gonna go. We're gonna, and he's like, and all
Well, it's
over.
Christelle Laprade.
I know. I'm getting there. All he had is like in every bin in, was it Ross?
Burlington.
Burlington. I love Burlington. To find one to bring it home so that then we could do we call it research and development, because clearly we don't have nothing else to do on Saturday night besides talk to Funmi on a Zoom or sit there and compare whether or not this one really does smell that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's what we do for fun. So we can be, very helpful in recognizing that all fragrance is not about a price point. And
and that's why sometimes, like, when you smell perfumes from a perfumer, like you can say, well, this smells like this other perfume that he made for this other brand that costs a third of the price. Well, I'm going to use the Gordon Ramsay example. You give Gordon Ramsay $20 to make macaroni and cheese, and you give him $1,000 to make macaroni and cheese. He's still making macaroni and cheese. So at the end of the day, you're getting macaroni and cheese, but there's one macaroni and cheese that uses a very rare cheese from a place in France that was created by monks, and then there's another macaroni and cheese that was made using Velveeta. It's macaroni and cheese, but it's the quality of the ingredients used are totally going to be different because of the budgets that are involved. And some people like $20 macaroni and cheese, and some people like $1,000 macaroni and cheese.
One day we'll be looking back, in the fragrance journey, and then we'll be like, oh, so here you go. Here's the Gordon Ramsay. Well, it won't be Influxious because I'm sure it'll be another brand at that point, because Influxious is going to be whatever. Do you think you're going to change them, like make different lines? It'll all be Influxious, or
I think I'd like to do like an Influxious Privé.
Okay, we'll there you go. So we'll have Influxious Privé, and then we'll be over there, and we'll be having truffle mac and cheese perfume, and we'll be excited.
And it's not to say that the Sephora mac and cheese is Velveeta mac, but I think that's like, there's so many levels to packaging. There's so many levels to juice. There's so many levels to all of the things, and I think people don't know. That's why sometimes the argument is so, I hate to say pedestrian, because it's really not just as simple as, well, this creator created this fragrance that costs $40, and they also created this fragrance that costs $500. So, and they both work for Firmenich, like he works at Firmenich. So that means it's the same thing. This brand has just overinflated the price. No, if it was that simple, then
what we when Chris Collins was here, he talked about this is because this is his first Croque Moi it's his first launch for Sephora. Mm-hmm. The other ones were for Neiman Marcus and then Nordstrom. And the difference in packaging, so even though they look alike, mm-hmm. Those were the blue opaque bottles mm-hmm. full of oud, and
there you go.
Oh yes,
the stuff, the juice.
Yes. And we talked about that. So I was like, okay, so this one has, the real oud in it, or, this one has an oud note kind of in it. Mm-hmm. And, he talked about what it meant to be able to now design specifically for a Sephora customer, or mm-hmm. even talking about how, even though Sephora has carried their line, and actually, I think I talked about this earlier today, because, we are being conscientious with our dollars this month. And I had, matter of fact, it's right here. So I had my discovery set from the Harlem Perfume Company, and had been trying to figure out what I was going to purchase. And of course, the one that came down to Showgirl or Josephine. Okay. And Sephora doesn't carry Josephine, which is the more expensive perfume. Mm-hmm. They only carry Showgirl. So I got mm-hmm. Showgirl because we were using the coupon. But I also ordered Josephine and Duke directly from the house.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. When yeah, they had the discovery set, and the same. There's a discovery set for Collins at Sephora, but they only carry 3 fragrances, I think, that you could buy full bottles from.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And
Yeah.
and we started talking about that because people couldn't understand why they couldn't get all of it at Sephora.
Yeah. I mean, you really
So
are.
is there an industry standard for profit margins versus juice as far as, like, let's say you have a bar and a restaurant. um, there's specific margins that you want on the food sales, on the liquor sales. So I would assume that when you're designing a fragrance brand, you're setting your price point first, and then you're walking it backwards. So let's say you're going into Sephora, you want to be within the 135 to 150 range. So
Mhm.
then you can then step that backwards and say, okay, then my oils need to fall into this price point. But is there an industry standard that all of the companies try to fall into with that? So they might say, well, our price point generally is 310 or 500. So our oil needs to cost us X amount of dollar. We have this to work in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, so that's what we did. We had to reverse engineer what a potential budget could look like. Like I gave myself a price range. Okay, if my perfume costs between 115 and 125, and then based on what Sephora takes, this is what my budget needs to stay out for in order to be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there you can figure out, like, okay, for example, there are a lot of very high niche brands that will have very, very elaborate, very, very luxurious packaging, but luxurious packaging can add a lot to your bottom line. And so sometimes with like Sephora, you see a lot of, most brands will have a mono carton. Let me show you what a mono carton looks like. A mono carton, something like this, versus something like this, because
Right.
this is significantly more expensive than this. But the thing is, if you want to keep the customer that's more likely to buy this, sometimes you sacrifice this for this. Because if you put it at a price point where you can afford this packaging, you want to have this packaging, you will lose the customer that would have bought it at this price point. So that's one. Two, everybody, I mean, I don't obviously I don't know what everyone's budgets look like, but I had to ask myself what was the most important things that I wanted people to remember with my fragrance. So I I I kind of, I think I was advised to lower the price of my oils. Like I was advised to maybe do a little bit more of a budget oil, not budget oil, but like go lower on the cost of my oils. But I
Mm-hmm.
also knew that if I did that, I'd be missing out on having really unique formulas. And I thought to myself, I think the most memorable thing about my fragrance will be the fact that they're unique formulas and unique ingredients. Then the last thing is, and this was a personal sacrifice, was that I did want to have custom bottles. Everybody advised, actually, I was 100% advised against having custom bottles and doing a custom mold, because they
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, for a custom mold, the minimum order quantity from most factories is 10,000 units. And you won't sell that. Like, that's a lot of money. You won't sell that. It costs, you have to pay a mold fee. But I told myself, I wouldn't feel good about myself and what I'm trying to do if I started off with what I call the factory settings bottles, the bottles that are readily available, because they're still very lovely. But I just thought, like, I don't feel like it's me.
Well, I mean, we started this whole thing, and you told us that you have always been a girl's girl, glamour girl. And I'm gonna tell you right now that I don't want to hear nothing about the backlash that Jackie got about her bottles when they came out, because everybody was like, "This don't fit who you are, Jackie." I want to know that when I see that bottle, that it looks like it's a Funmi bottle. So I'm with you, girl. I'm with you.
And I
But to
mean,
that point, I will say there are people in the chat that are saying if you have to, they will still support. And when that Privé line comes out, you can go balls to the wall then, and they
yeah, I'm
will
going that when the
forgive
pre-vet
you.
line goes out, all listen, all bets are off. But even with this one, I said, okay, the bottles, I really, because I think the bottles are what sits on the shelf, right? The boxes don't sit on the shelf at Sephora, it's the bottles. So I'm going to splurge on doing really nice bottles, but then maybe I scale back. Like I'm not going to have like a very elaborate box. The average
And we
person
got
does throw
cardboard
away their box.
boxes.
So it's like you for me, it's like you compromise where you want to save. Another thing too is the components. Like for me, all the details matter in how people experience and interact with your product. I went through 15 atomizers. before I found the atomizer that I liked, because I knew I didn't want it to be too wet on my skin, but I didn't want it to be splotchy, but I wanted it to shoot a certain way. But I also want, it's like I think about how I use my fragrance and what I like and don't like about certain things. And I took all that feedback and put it into my products. So there was the research and development team is me. Like I didn't pay anyone for research, and there was no budget, so I had to use.
Well, we can
I was
volunteer
research and
when you
development.
need someone.
You
We
know,
volunteer to be on the R&D team.
I
We
appreciate
love
it.
we love that part.
Favorite atomizer from a brand?
Ooh, I can tell you my least favorite atomizer.
Okay, least favorite.
Mazzolari. That damn nozzle, like the juice is so good, but the nozzle
And it leaks.
squirts.
It
It's
and
to the
it
point where
leaks
I will never
down the
repurchase the
side.
fragrance. It squirts when you have to. It's the worst nozzle I've ever used. I will never repurchase it. And then there's
And
actually there's
I was gonna say, people are gonna be doing content videos with your atomizer. So like all the stuff that you did as creator, like people are gonna be doing with your new fragrance. So I'm sure that has to also play into
absolutely.
when
You
you're
want
making
you
certain
know they're gonna be
choices.
holding it up and spritzing it. So
If it starts, they spray my fragrance and it clogs and squirts out,
Yeah, we can't have that.
you can't have that. So I mean, I
I
thought
like
about all of those things.
ATH's atomizers. That's
say
like a
what?
can of spray paint. I like ATH's atomizers. It's like
Oh,
a can of spray paint, just shh,
I
the
know,
whole length of
and
your
I think
arm.
I know which atomizer he uses. That was one of the ones I tested out. So I actually I turned down that atomizer because I felt like there's too much spray that comes out, and I
Oh, it's a
think
lot.
that spray is better suited towards like a body mist, for example, versus like a
I would agree.
perfume. So I think it's just there's so many different things, and then I would spray everything against a mirror so I could also see like what
Drip
what does it look like
pattern.
when it shoots out? Does it drip, or does it like have like kind of like an even mist? It's a lot. Like I think people a lot of times don't consider like all of the components, but there were a lot of different details that I had to pay attention to and research in order to make sure, like I said, when people interact with my products, that it's a pleasurable interaction.
So
Pleasant.
we don't want to make you throw out all the tea and give out all the secrets and stuff, but can you at least tell us, like, for this line, like, is it going to be EDP? Like, what is the oil concentration? Like, can you tell us at least that?
EDP.
Okay.
Because I can't give X straight without Privé, so they are
Okay.
EDPs. But I think
Okay.
they're EDPs, but it doesn't really matter because technically, like, it's really about uh the way the fragrance is built. That's what longevity kind of
Sure.
represents. So it could be an X-ray, but it doesn't last that long. But I will say one of the things that was very high on my priority list with developing the fragrances was how it blossoms on the skin. And that was the word that we used, was blooming. How the fragrance starts versus how it develops as you wear it, and then obviously like the longevity. But I mean, there's a lot. But yeah, they are EDPs.
So we should be
What
expecting
keep
some shapeshifters with these then.
Yeah,
I
they're
love it.
dynamic.
I hate a linear fragrance. I
Yeah,
love it when I experience it multiple times.
yeah.
And
It is
are you going to
dynamic.
be doing 150-10 after the learning curve from
Yes.
Exalte?
Multiple sizes. I won't say, okay, I can't tell you like what the exact sizes are, but it is big bottle, travel size, and then discovery
Okay.
set. I felt like discovery sets were a really important accessibility point
Mhm.
that I couldn't really compromise on that. And I want to just say this because I think people don't understand how expensive it is to launch a fragrance. But when Rihanna launched Fenty Parfum, it launched in I think the 75 ml size at
Mhm.
Sephora in 2021. I remember because it launched the year I moved to Dallas. It launched in 2021, and Fenty is backed by LVMH. So this is like a company that's valued at $1 billion, right? They launched with one size. They didn't launch
Mhm.
a travel size for almost like 2 years. I don't think they've ever done a discovery set. So with that being said, if I think it's important to give grace to people when they are launching brands because like I said, there's so many factors that go into being able to expand your product offerings. But I will say, like for me, I had to budget for it. I said, maybe I can't order 10,000 bottles. Maybe I just order 5,000 bottles, but at least I'll be able to have discovery sets. And so you just have to figure out what the most important thing was for you. And for me, a big point for me was a big a big inspiration for me was my point of accessibility.
They want to know
So
what
you're
is keeping you up the
What's
most
keep
at night during this process.
selling out of Exalté. And I'll say that without going too much into everything, that this is a project that needs to be behind me. It's I think that because I'm so worried about selling this out, I think I can't put 100% into Inflectious. It's
You're
just
not
not possible if I'm on live every day trying to promote this, trying to figure out new marketing techniques to sell out of this. I can't fully immerse myself in the founder mode that I want to be in this chapter of my life. And this has been going on. I mean, I've been working on Inflectious since last year. I think I'm doing a huge disservice to my brand. I think it deserves to have all of my attention and not part of my attention. And I think that by being able to sell out of this, like I can fully put all my feet into really doing everything I can to make sure this is executed as well as it is in my head.
So the new fragrances, you're gonna launch as a line. It won't be you're coming out with one. You'll launch as a line. People are asking, you said something about exclusivity with Sephora. So it'll only be available at Sephora at least to start, or will you have your own Inflectious website that they'll be able to get it there too? Like, do we know how that's
Yes,
working yet?
we
Okay.
will have a website as well. So that's called DTC, where you can buy directly.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I'll have influxious.com or CO, and where you can purchase directly. And then, of course, our first retailer is Sephora. So with that type of launch, I'm sure Chris also probably mentioned this. Well, he launched us at Nordstrom first, so
yes, he
he might
launched
not
it.
have that situation. But for me, since I'm a new brand, my exclusivity would be with Sephora initially. So maybe for like a year, I can only launch fragrances at Sephora, but then maybe after 2 years, I can also launch at Macy's or at Dillard's or somewhere else. The thing with Sephora, though, is I will say this: I have some amazing mentors that are founders that have been killing it in the Sephora game. One thing about Sephora is that it can break you, but it also can make you
Hmm.
as a brand. And Sephora is known for being a brand builder. I think because of my relationship with Sephora as an influencer and being on Sephora Squad and coming in as a founder, this is a storyline that I think they're very invested in seeing being successful, because they can say, hey, when Funmi was just an influencer, we saw the raw talent and we nurtured our relationship for her to now have a very successful brand at Sephora. So I think for me, I have a lot of faith in the fact that I think they're going to give me good advice. But I also know that it's on me to use my wisdom and discernment to make sure I can execute those things in a way that is cost effective, but also in line with our brand ideals as well.
Well, the coverage of Sephora too is also nice. I mean, they have grown as a brand. Their brick and mortar has expanded. There's almost no place that you can really go unless you're super rural that they're not going to have a Sephora somewhere in the
I
relative
think they're one of
vicinity.
the few brick and mortar beauty retailers that are global, actually. Like I
Yeah,
think, you can Sephora in the US, Sephora Canada, Sephora Mexico, Sephora Brazil, Sephora UK, Sephora France, Sephora Spain, Sephora Portugal, Sephora just China. I was in China and I was shopping at Sephora. So I think it's just in Australia. So with that being said, I think that if you can succeed in Sephora, it's easy to have a wider global footprint,
Hmm.
but it takes time, because another question, I know you'll ask me this because some people have been asking me, is will you be in Sephora UK? Like, can Sephora Canada, like, can I buy it in Canada? Can I go into Sephora in France? Can I go into Sephora in wherever? I'm starting in the US because it costs so much money to expand into new markets. And truthfully speaking, that's why it's really, really difficult for new brands to expand into new markets, because it can be so cost prohibitive. Besides the shipping, you're paying for marketing. Like, Justin, no offense, but you didn't even know who I was before this call, right? So now imagine
sure.
I need to reach a whole country of Justins that have never heard of me, and I want them to buy my fragrance. So I do that through marketing. I do that through, maybe influencer outreach. I do that through PR, and all of those things cost a lot of money. So you have to really take your time to build and play the long game when it comes to um, creating a brand that will stand the test of time, not just be a hype brand that's here today and gone tomorrow.
And do they roll? Well, do they roll out brands nationally, or do they start you regionally? Like, will they start you in the Southwest, or when you launch, will you be East Coast to West Coast nationally?
I'm in a really unique position because a lot of times with new brands, Sephora actually only launches you online. But because I already an influencer and I have a community, like I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'll say it anyway. They can't beat me. They'll probably send me an email tomorrow saying, "We love your enthusiasm." This message will self-destruct in 24 hours. But I'm actually I've gotten the green light to be in a few stores when we launch. So they just look at their markets to see, what makes sense to your demographic and your audience, and then also which stores have space to even kind of expand with your product.
Because people are asking if you do pop-ups and stuff at the Sephora's, or will you do
I
like
plan
little?
to. It's just me. Like I'm the whole team. So I'll be doing the pop-ups. I'll be setting up the table. I'll be putting lemonade on the table. Like, I'll be signing stuff. I'll be the cleanup crew. I plan to because I really, really do value community so much. And I love what Makeda's been doing with Brown Sugar Babe and the scent soirees. I
Well,
think
let me tell you, they're like, we need to make Exalte disappear, and then we'll just, use it with Brown Sugar Babe while we focus on Influxious. That's exactly where they are. Like, we need to make it disappear. They're like literally, everybody's like, can we just get this out of here so we can get on to Influxious? And then somebody said, oh, well, we'll just wait till they get some Brown Sugar Babe oil. That's how we'll keep with that up. So they're on it. They understand the assignment. Okay.
thank you.
Well,
I
we
love it. And
we
that was
got
another
a
little
guy that will
teaser. It's
help you.
like, I actually, Makeda told me that people are always asking about an Exalte oil in the Brown Sugar Bay Facebook group. So I said, well, should we do one? And she was like,
No,
I mean, if you want to do one, like, I'm not going to just make an oil out of your fragrance. And I was like, I think we should.
no,
Well,
you
the
absolutely,
catch is obviously
absolutely.
for legal reasons, these opportunities can't overlap. So just like with the Sephora, uh, just like with my Sephora partnership, I also have to make sure that this is out of the way before I launch. I roll into the Brown Sugar Babe partnership as well.
Well, they said, can you make this disappear? And they'll move on to that while we enjoy
Or
Influxion.
hoard it, because I'm telling you, so many people will buy the oil and say, "Oh, I wish I had." I'm like, you could have had it. You could have had it. We had it. We had bundles in September.
Well, if there's still any left, we're actually supposed to be coming to Dallas next month for a fragrance event, and maybe we can just get rid of everything
I will
there.
set some aside for you. So another thing is I don't have any of the inventory. I will set some aside for you guys. I'll just mail to you. I'll just mail to you with these actually. But
Okay.
the company is based in Toronto, so the warehouse
Right.
is in Toronto. I don't have any inventory. All I have is my personal stash. So you guys are getting my personal stash.
So wait a minute. So with these tariffs, so what happens with
The
that?
company is absorbing the tariffs.
Okay.
Okay,
At
good.
least they're doing that.
Well,
Okay.
I gave up my commissions.
I know.
So so that's
I told
why that's happening. So actually, happy birthday. That was my birthday gift to you guys.
Oh, thank you. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
so
you.
on
Because
my
honestly,
birthday,
like I said, like
yeah,
I always think about the barrier of entry for anything. And I knew with the tariffs, like that could be a barrier of entry that people would not want to support the fragrance because of paying tariffs. So I think part of my entrepreneurship journey is understanding what are the sacrifices you're willing to make things shake. You know what I mean? And for me, selling out of this inventory means more to me than earning a commission. At the end of the day, I have a father who will pay my bills. Like he doesn't want to, but I'm his oldest child. Like he'll do it. He doesn't want me on the streets. And he doesn't want me moving back home with him. He doesn't want me moving back in with him and my mom. So whatever it takes to keep me away from the house where things will cost more money for them. I just think to myself that, that was my sacrifice in this process. I think you have to have something. It's impossible to have anything that's worth fighting for, anything that's worth doing without having a level of sacrifice. And at the end of the day, I have an aunt that lives here. I eat dinner at her house every night.
oh, I used to do that. I used to just go visit people. Well,
You
I'm
know?
telling you, this is, this thing with the entrepreneurs being too important to do certain things with their brand. I remind people I'm a law firm owner and have been for 15 years. And I have had big depositions at my office and had to clean toilets and vacuum the floors and pull out the Windex and do the table for coming in 3 hours for the deposition because I didn't have staff at that time. So
Yeah.
because it still got to look like I had some when the other lawyers came.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are not willing to sacrifice for your dream, how are you going to ask somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest things about entrepreneurship is always, you know, people go, I'm raising money, raising money, raising money. Yeah, but how much of your cash are you putting in here? And you know, people they'll tell me, oh no, because I'm raising it. I said, I'm not giving you a dollar till I know how many dollars of your own you put up. Because
I
I
put
want
a
to know
hundred
that your
thousand
skin
dollars
is,
into Influxus.
that's
So
right.
that
I want to
was,
know your skin is in the
yeah,
game.
I put 100,000 because you're right. How can I ask someone to write me a check when they're like, "Oh, did you do anything?" Yes, I put in 100K. I wiped out my savings,
That's
honestly, and
right.
it's been worth it so far. I had a call with my accountant last week. We are going over my books, and I wanted to know, to date, like how much have I spent? And to date, I've already spent like 60 grand just on between my trademarks, filing my trademarks, my legal team, the consulting agency that I work with, the different advisors that I work with on the team that have been involved in very successful brands. I always say that you bring people on that are used to success. And I brought people on that are used to, they already know what that table looks like. I don't know what success looks like because I haven't done it yet. So I bring people in that knows what it looks like so they can help me get there. And all of those things cost money, but it's been an investment and it's been worth it. And so that's why I said if I have to sacrifice my commission, it's like it's commission. It's a small thing that gets me one step closer to being able to fully throw myself into this project. And I really want to be able to do that. I think it's kind of like relationships. I think you deserve all my attention, but if I want to date everybody else, I think I shouldn't date you right now.
Mhm.
I think Influxus deserves all my attention, and Exalte has had all my attention before. I think I'm ready to sell this out because I'm ready to take that and put it into Influxus instead.
Influxious is like your senior year of college.
Yeah,
You really finished with this here thing. You just need to get to the finish line, and all you're thinking about is that finish line. But you've been finished. You know
yeah,
the year. You know that semester and a half when you don't do nothing. So
yeah.
that's where Exalte is right now. It's
Because
like, you know,
the product is good. It has
yes,
reviews.
it's
People
there.
have
I
been
just
buying it over the last 3 years. So it's not like people just started buying it. We just need to sell out the rest of the inventory.
So they said, we're on it, we're on it, we're on it, let's do it. They're very excited. And somebody said, okay, I guess I have to get 4 more bottles. So you know, we're gonna all be like apparently ordering Exalte. So this is
And for those that don't know where to get it, we can post links.
again,
So
yes,
that-
we posted them. We're gonna post more, post more links as to where you can get it. Yes, this is truly your baby, and we cannot wait to see her grow and flourish. We're talking about Influxious now.
Thank you.
Um, Oh, did you answer what influxious means? Like you talked about it, but I
Yeah.
don't think you talked about where you got the name.
It's a name I made up.
Okay.
It's a combination of influx and luxurious. And
Okay.
so combining influxes, okay, so the definition it means to me is an influx of luxury. And it ties back to like my time as a therapist. I would always tell my clients like your willingness to open up in therapy and be open to advice, open to experiences will truly dictate how you're able to experience life. If you keep yourself open to experience wonderful things will happen to you, you know? And I feel like when you wear Influxious, like, it opens yourself up to feel good. It opens yourself up to get compliments, social connections. It opens yourself up to feel empowered, and I think empowered through luxury. So Influxious, scented adornment.
Scented adornment. I like
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
I
like
need
that.
some. Yeah, I like
I
that. Scented adornment.
So you can't give away obviously too much stuff about it, but do you have an idea, a vision for as far as like future releases, what you want to be? You'll come out with your initial offering, and then do you want to be a brand that is, one a quarter or twice a year? I mean, I'm sure you have a ton of ideas, visions creatively, and obviously, if money was no option, I'm just let you go. But we've talked to people that want to do. They try to line up, with holidays, things like that. They have a certain schedule in mind throughout the year. Where do you see this going as far as growth from initial launching to the possibility of getting into your privé and then having standard releases, go along hand in hand with that?
Well, we're launching a full collection, at launch. But I will say that a rhythm that feels good to me is two a year, because it allows
Okay.
you to tell two different fragrance stories at two different times of the year. And I kind of dig that idea. So we are currently finalizing the first phase, but I'm already planning for the second phase, like the next launch. Fluxus Privé later down the line, but
Sure.
you always have to kind of think ahead regarding what you want to do and what story you want to tell and how it makes sense with your brand. But yeah, I don't want to put out too many, because obviously with too many, it starts to feel like fast fashion. And to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I think a lot of time, and I'm not saying this happens with everybody, but I think that brands that put out a lot of perfume in a year, at some point you are using the library of the fragrances that the fragrance house has already made and putting a twist on it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that happens to everybody, but it just kind of, I mean, you have to think about it. If you're putting out a fragrance every 2 months or every month,
But
you're
you
not
also
making,
compete with yourself at that point, because
yeah,
you're still trying to sell the last one and you're releasing another one,
yeah,
and then you wind up having people just passing over.
I mean,
exactly.
we've done so many of these interviews now, and we're so fortunate that we've had the opportunity to talk to so many brands, from little guys that are just breaking on the scene to people that have won fragrance of the year, so, and everybody in between. And we always ask, what is the timeline for you from writing your brief, coming up with your initial concept and story, to actually coming to market? And I mean, the average, is 6 to 18 months, but most are like that 9 to 12 month. And
Mhm.
so, releasing to a year, you have to kind of be ahead of the game, but it's
Yeah,
really hard to do, 6 to 10, if it really does, like, to your point, if you're not just kind of like,
Copy paste,
you
couple
know,
different. Let's just change the font.
yeah.
Yeah.
so
I will say that, like, right now I'm still finalizing formulations, but once I finalize this round, I have to start working on the next round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I already have to start, so, and you have to be kind of proactive, with anticipating that you want to do more. And so I think it's always best to prepare for the best. There's something I saw a TikTok, but they said, what if instead of thinking about what's the worst that could happen, you think about what's the best that could happen? And it changed my mindset regarding, even thinking right now, like, where am I going to get the money to even launch all of these fragrances? Because right now, the money I've invested is basically the foundation for this
Mm-hmm.
fragrance brand. It paid for, like I said, legal, it paid for my molds, it's paying for the things that are needed to build, to build the brand, but it's not enough money to execute all the other ideas that I would need to do before next year. And so I'm just in the fundraising portion right now too. And that's what I mean when I say, like, it's really a full-time job, being creative, being the founder, interviewing people, and then also fundraising. That's why Exalte. I would love it to sell out, so the energy I'm using to promote this fragrance every day, I could use towards reaching out to potential investors and connecting with angels and seeing, how I can raise the rest of this money to launch next year, and launch well. I think it's one thing to launch, but to launch well is my goal.
Well, I mean, so that's exciting. Just all of it has been exciting. Are there any questions that you have for the audience? Because I mean, they have stayed here for you, and actually, you have steadily grown
Oh wow.
throughout, as far as people who've been watching and participating. Like, typically, we'll see a fall off and we see it come back, but you've been growing the entire 2 hours here. So,
Wonderful.
what is it that you want us to know? Not anything that you talked about, something that you want us to know as to how we can continue to assist and support you. We know to go buy some Exalte. We know that we need to be talking about Exalte, but we need to be talking about Influxious too.
Mhm.
How can we help you?
I would say this. I want everyone to continue to be curious. I think part of what makes life so beautiful is not ever waking up and thinking, okay, I just know everything and no one can ever teach me anything new. I can never learn anything else. I can never discover anything. Is continue to be curious. Keep yourself open, right? That's what, Influxious is really about, is keeping yourself open, because you'd be very surprised at the things you'll discover that you probably didn't expect to like. And then the third thing too is I always say that sometimes knowing someone who knows somebody can always be can be the thing that is a game changer. I've had a lot of incredible calls over the last couple weeks due to someone who connected me with someone who knows somebody who knew somebody. Like my friend said, I know this girl, she does investments. And then I had a call with this girl. She said, I have a guy friend who he runs like, investment, he does investments. And I think you should have a conversation with him. Maybe he can be a mentor for you. And then that guy connected me with all the people I've been speaking with over the last few weeks that have been
Mhm.
investors, actually like investors that are interested in my brand. So with that being said, I always say, if you know someone who knows someone, just let me know. Cause I think it can really it can change your life, honestly. But I think the biggest thing is just keep yourself open. And I'm looking forward to surprising people when we launch. I think that's probably the thing I'm most excited about is uh breaking the is changing the expectations people have towards influencer launches. I think a lot of influencer launches have a bad reputation because people feel like maybe they're just white labeling and just slapping their name on something. But I think the time and then the education and the not just the money, but just the research and everything I've put into really fleshing this brand out, I think it will surprise people, and I'm excited about that.
Well, we're excited for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And people want to know, they're asking in YouTube anyway, can you spell the name of Inflectious so everybody has it right?
If I spell it wrong, am I gonna get stoned?
Don't. So I'm gonna tell you, our mayor is famous and it's on shirts for not being able to spell Eagles. Okay, so I don't know if it like made national news that we were going to the Super Bowl and she was like EGLEA, and we're like, what, lady? What?
Ooh.
Like, are you drunk? So I'm gonna sell. So it says that they believe it's Influxious, INFLUXIOUS.
That's correct.
Okay,
Inflectious.
because I didn't want you to have a moment. I could spell it wrong.
I know it's
I
inflectious.
N F L U X I O U S.
IOUS. Yes. Inflectious. I don't know. And it's also, I think it's just such a cool name. I actually was at the Sephora headquarters back in May, and I met with their head of global marketing for beauty, right? And all of us that were in the accelerator, we had to go around in a circle and introduce ourselves and say our name. And when she got to me and I said, my name is Funmi Monet, and I'm the founder and CEO of Inflex, she said, Inflectious. She was like, that is such a cool name. Like I've never even heard anything like that before. And I was like, thank you. I mean, I'm glad it's memorable. So that made me feel really good because I think too, your brand name can really, really create a lasting impression in people, and it can make people curious to know, okay, what is an Inflectious? Is it a mythical character? It's a name I made up, but now you'll find it out.
Understand it.
Go to the
It's
website, you'll find it out,
thing in the DeLorean that made him go through time, right?
yeah,
The Inflectious capacitor.
yeah, basically, I mean, it can be anything. And I think that it's I don't know, like I said, it's the curiosity. That's what I enjoy.
Well, everybody loves the name.
Thank
Hands
you.
down, they're all on board and they can't wait to support it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Fumi, I mean, honestly, we could just keep talking because it's girlfriend time,
I love
but
it.
it's been amazing.
Thank you
I don't
guys.
know.
Thank you for
What you
bringing me
guys think?
here. This was incredible. I've been looking for this all week. I was telling her, I was like, I got ready on my live earlier. People were asking me, are you going on a date? Are you going? I'm like, no, I have an interview today.
And I told you, but I never told Danielle because she was with Menace, and obviously the audience doesn't know. But I logged into the live earlier, and so I got to watch her get ready. And I saw people asking, like, "Are you getting ready for a date and stuff?" And I was like, "No, she's getting ready to talk to me."
I
Coming to
love
our
it.
interview, and
I'm coming to an interview.
no one saw my comment. No one paid any kind of mind. There wasn't any blowback, but I was
They're
so
like, who are
excited.
you? Lady, go away.
That's so great. Who is she?
But I was
Well,
under our
we
other
do love it
TikTok
when they
account.
show up
So
beautiful for
I
us.
love
I'm
it.
going to tell you, we do love that. We're like, oh my God, just they come and they're so dressed up and so amazing looking. Yes, it was truly truly a great time. Thank you for the folks who joined us for the first time. I have to remind everybody, if you're on the YouTube feed, you can join us over at the Aroma Affair group on Facebook, because remember, we gotta y'all gotta answer some Fumi Monet questions so we can win some exaltate.
Yep.
And do not forget, these are signed, so not just the signature on the box.
Yeah.
So again, these ain't the ones that you could use. Y'all got to save them, because they, you know what, somebody told us that like 100 ml bottle of Exalte is like $1,000 on eBay right now. Somebody
Yeah,
told
I
me
was like, wow, y'all are cleaning up. I didn't know there were entrepreneurs in the group. Yeah.
so
They're flipping
letting
it.
me
They're
know.
flipping it out here.
No, I'm telling y'all, don't use these bottles. We're gonna sell them out, but don't use these signed ones. Go buy a different one, okay?
I love it. Wait, is it the Aroma Affair or by Aroma
No, no,
Affair?
it's
No.
okay. So okay,
On
we can talk
Facebook,
about
it's Aroma Affair.
just
I barely go on Facebook, so I'm just like, let me go ahead
I
and
know the
lurk
whole
in the
Again,
group.
our age demographic over here.
no, but
Let me
here's the real
lurk.
thing. Like everybody's on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but people that are actually buying in the marketplaces, and then we see you, we got you.
Yep.
We'll approve that in just a minute.
I was
The
gonna say,
people
what
that
if
are
I got
buying-
rejected?
Did
Like,
you
what if I
answer the
got
question?
Did you
Rejected.
answer the question? Did you tell us?
I didn't answer the questions.
You didn't answer the questions.
I
You
didn't
can't
agree to
get
be courteous. I didn't agree to be courteous and professional.
That's okay. I'm really not either. So they only
No.
kick me out every other day. But
That is so
I
funny.
mean, it's yeah, you have to. And actually, it's so funny because you're not the first that they're like, oh, I'm only on Instagram. I'm only, and then they get in the group and they're like,
Chris
it's so
Collins is
different
like,
in here.
what? I have to get on Facebook? Can I get on there with my business page? I'm like, we don't allow business pages. But for you, Chris Collins, I mean, we'll let the world of Chris Collins in on his business page.
Yeah.
And then all our brands from Italy, Lorenzo Pizzaglia too. He's like, oh, I have to go with my personal account. I'm like, yes, sir, you do. But let me tell you why. So when people do buy these XLT that don't already have them or are late to the game, when they get them and when they get their signed bottles, like they're going to post and they're going to put their reviews and they're going to tag you. And just like you do, and you're amazing at connecting with your audience, you're going to connect to them there. But all the people that actually buy fragrance all day long, they're going to see that and then they're going to want it. And so, and when there's no more XLT, because we're going to sell them all out, then they're going to be right there front and center, ready to get Unflectious when you launch the whole collection. They'll be buying all three of those. So
Yeah,
love that.
and
we're going to
our
call it
folks-
out as though it is already. All right.
Our folks really are very, very brand loyal because
that.
now you are Aroma Affair.
I need to make sure I need to make sure Aroma Affair gets an early access.
Yeah, we would love that.
We are all about the
I need to make
exclusives,
sure y'all get early access so you
Yeah,
can
'cause
you
we
can
are
get
that-
what you
we-
need.
know, it's just like, we treat it like family. So, when your family do something, everybody got to come. That's how we treat it. So, I mean, they were online at 3 a.m. in Sephora trying to get some croque mo. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they were fighting on Friday trying to get Reverie from City Rhythm. Nobody knows what any of stuff smells like, but they were making sure they were in the line to get some. And what nobody was going, what are the notes? What anybody? Nobody cared. I gotta get it
I love
because
that.
nobody cared. I gotta get one.
I love that. No,
you
actually,
gotta support the family.
I'll talk to you guys more about this in the coming months, but part of my rollout strategy actually does involve just really leaning into the community. And I think early access discovery sets, I think that would probably be
Oh
the
my
biggest
God, they
thing,
would,
because then you could try all the fragrances before we
yeah,
launch. So,
and they would be just a writing and
now that I know you guys distribute,
we do.
I'd love to talk to you guys about how we can distribute our discovery sets into your community.
yes,
Yeah.
Perfect.
yes.
We're here for you.
And for those folks who in the UK that might want those discovery sets that technically they can't get, we can help you right on out.
We can help you with
That'd
that
be
too.
so good.
We-
Because I've been
we
wondering,
also-
the UK girl, they've been asking me. I'm like, listen, I don't know what to tell you yet, guys.
I don't know what to tell
I just figured out the cabs.
You just send them to us. We will figure it out with you. But what
I
were you
love
gonna
that.
I was going to say, we also have had great success with brands that where we send out samples prior to launch Nothing for purchase. Obviously we can't sell it, but
Mhm.
every product that we send out the door, every package gets a sample so that you can get actual real-time feedback on that. And
That's
then
good to
that
know.
also drums up a lot of buzz in the community.
There is a new house. They were only 60 days old, and they came out with a 5 fragrance launch, and we got them before anybody else did, and they literally sold out their entire line in 60 days.
That's
So,
awesome.
and they're waiting for their restock, and they're launching their 6th fragrance next week. And so,
Wow.
Yes, we're very excited. They couldn't
Oh, that's right.
believe it. They're
The
like,
balloon note.
yes,
Yeah,
it's the
the
Yeah.
balloon
balloon.
note.
The
Balloon note,
balloon
yes,
note in
yes.
plastic.
yeah, it's balloon and pear and dragon fruit and hot plastic.
It's like
and,
really interesting.
Wow. That's so
So we
different.
can't wait to
Yeah.
but it was interesting that they called us right up and they were like, this was amazing, and how did this happen? We're very
Yeah.
confused, but thank you.
Wow, I love that. That's incredible. Yeah, no, I'm going to talk about this with my my team. They always tell me, Funmi, you always have so many ideas. Like we need you to like
You gotta
Rein
ring
get the
it in.
ADHD
Rein
together.
it
Like,
in, rein it
but I'm
in.
just like, listen, we just gotta figure out how to do it. But I've been trying to figure out how I can work with, a group. And I just really love your vibe, and I love, the energy that your community has, from what you've described. So I think I think you guys will have early access to discovery sets and the samples. Because I would love to get your feedback and just kind of like I said, I would like to see what you guys think. So
Well, like I
or
said,
my
we're going to be in Dallas next month, and
Well,
so
tentatively, we're going to be in Dallas next
well,
month.
okay.
we're supposed to be in
Not
Dallas
all
next
of us.
month.
I sadly will not be there because
But
there was a scheduling issue.
even if we don't make Dallas, are you coming to Scent Explorer? Can we at least say we're gonna maybe see you in December?
Maybe, but if you're in Dallas, text me. You have my number now, so
Well,
text me.
yeah, I got you.
But Sundays was a maybe only because I don't
We
know.
don't know what the calendars are doing.
I don't know what the calendar is doing. My calendar it changes from week to week.
No, but that's
I
a
get
good
that.
problem to have.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good
We
problem.
need you to
maybe.
go to Scent Explorer because we have somebody that you need to monitor on the plane coming from Dallas to New
No,
York.
we wouldn't do that to you.
Uh,
We
I'm
wouldn't do
thinking.
that
I'm
to
thinking
you.
about it. I'm thinking about it. I will say a lot of my friends are going, and we'll see how things go.
We got you.
Okay.
Can't be everywhere doing everything. I'm just asking to the community at large.
Oh.
Any last minute questions?
We did have a question. I'm so
Oh.
sorry. We did have a question from somebody, not in the chat. It was something that came in the inbox.
Okay.
So everybody has seen you all over the world, living your best life on all these different brand trips and all these different islands, sporting all the great bathing suits and sipping all the cocktails. So if you had to travel to one more place that you haven't been, where would you go?
Ooh, that I haven't been. Well, let me pull up my. I've actually keep a wish list on my
Toledo,
phone.
Ohio.
Surprise! I've actually been there. Surprisingly, okay. I actually keep a wish list. And I can tell you exactly. Okay, so on my wish list, Montenegro,
Okay.
Tanzania, South Africa, Rwanda,
You gonna go?
Zanzibar.
Can we go cage diving with the sharks if we go to South Africa? I'll go with you.
I'll take your photo. I'll film it. I'm not that adventurous, but I'll film you because I know you're gonna smell so good. And in Croatia and Montenegro are really high on my list right now. So I'd say Croatia. I would say Croatia, Montenegro, and Cyprus.
Oh, Cyprus.
Okay.
Yeah, those three. Like if I go there next year, I feel like I made it.
Ooh.
All right.
Maybe that'll be your relaxation launch event. Like, you know what?
I need a
Already
vacation.
go. And before I get on, my 10 country tour, because I'm claiming that we're gonna be international shortly. I need to get myself together and really.
Are you guys going to Exons next summer?
Well, I was just gonna say to you, we're planning on going, and we already kind of have a loose. Well, I won't say loose, but it's a fragrance and culinary tour. So we've got a lot of Italian houses that we're very, very close with, and so one
Lorenzo
doubles as a
promised
chef.
He's gonna make me carbonara.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a chef.
You get
That
the
would be amazing.
carbonara.
He promised me.
Yeah, Lorenzo.
And Simona, he's so fabulous. He's so sweet. I'll be there because this will be my 4th year going. I love Exons, so I
Well,
will be
yeah,
going
being
again.
that it's in June this year, we thought it'd be a great time to go. And then so Michaela Mazzetti said she'd ride on Vespas and we go through Tuscany and go to her shop. And so we have like all this stuff loosely planned. So if we're going to be there, then you just have to like come with us.
Can I throw out another place I think you would like? I think you would
Yes.
like Shanghai.
So when I
Okay.
saw you went, so you're going to stay there, okay? Everybody, because now we be all on travelings because they're over there now. They like we all going to Croatia,
And they're
now they all
open. They're
going
open to the public. These are not like
I
only
know.
for influencers.
I
They're
know.
open.
Oh, that's why we
So
go. We ain't
you should
influencers.
go.
We just out here. Is
Should we just
anybody
organize
had
trips?
any more questions? Because we're going to let Funmi go, or at least
Maybe
talk
we should just organize a trip. Maybe we could say, okay,
What are you doing next
Funmi,
month? Is
Danielle,
your guys' cruise
Danielle,
next
and the
month?
Factory Outlaws are going to Shanghai in March. Who wants to go to Shanghai? What do we got?
I mean-
Let's just make a trip out of it.
Let's do it.
I don't know if I can get my passport that quickly.
Do you know he
When?
doesn't have passport?
March.
That's a whole
March,
thing.
yes, you can.
Well, we're
can get
talking
it in
about
March.
June, but now
Okay,
I mean,
let's say
12
June.
Like I
Because
said,
I
that's
don't
a
think I
whole
can
thing.
travel in March.
Anybody
honestly.
over here? Anybody had any last questions other than you go, girl? We love this for you. They're very, very excited, and now you can see all of them, and you can see them. You can see the questions that we're going to decide. Because they always get a kick. The creators always get a kick out of the questions that are asked. So them, I would go. Okay, I would go.
People are signing up for the trip, so
there you
we're
go.
all on it.
They need to focus. So we're gonna let you go off of the live. Thank you so much for joining in. Funmi, hang out. We're gonna take you back out to the green room while I end all the other stuff. Okay.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Have a great
Love you
weekend.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.